to give you a team fight to be tanky but not to be a high cooldown hero like Tidehunter. That's why I'm not Tidehunter's biggest fan. I just feel like Ravage is way too high cooldown.
Yeah, I also don't like Ravage.
Even when Arena, I heard you're a legendary Tidehunter, so you don't have to worry. But even when Arena is on cooldown, Mars is still a pretty useful hero. He can wave clear very easily, and he can set up for kills with Blink Spear. So you're not dependent on Arena at all.
And Mars AA, I feel like, is in every team's wheelhouse right now, so EG keeping the draft very light. And PSG.LGD side we got an axe at one point, like there could be carry axe.
Yeah, they played in both roles this game.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if they busted out mid just to
make sure that they do all the bases, all the cores.
I mean, this team apparently they're like a meme team. Like they've been doing sprays everywhere. They're just doing it for the boys.
I have a question. Meta, big brain question.
Okay.
Okay. The goal is winning TI. Very simple, right?
How we would know.
Yes. So when you know that you're playing for winning TI, how much emphasis, with these two teams they are, well, EG obviously is guaranteed TI, PSG.LGD most likely going TI, how much emphasis are you going to put in creating heroes that teams will have to ban against you, so that come TI, you'll always have two bans that people will have to ban against you, so that you can pick whatever you want other than those two heroes? Like, how many mind games are going into that, or is that too far-fetched?
I
mean, the idea's not like out of this world,
but
usually that's like Broodmother, IO,
yeah,
techies, like the real
heroes that other people don't play.
Yeah, like it has to be something that differentiates you, because honestly, like if they pick Axe on 30 rolls, I'm like, okay, they pick Axe.
It could be the Omni Knight.
Yeah, but Omni Knight's not like like if you pick a cheese hero, it has to be like I drafted it, what up now, and like teams are scared of dealing it. With that said, like LGD actually does play techies, so I would have been like if they wanted to do that, Jinkyo is like one of the best techies in the world. But because I'm thinking about your thing now, it is something like specialization is important in Dota. But yeah, I don't know how to answer it, to be honest.
Maybe too far fetched.
It's very meta.
A little bit too meta, perhaps.
It's interesting to think about for sure, because teams are still first banning IO against Nigma.
Yeah.
Whereas they're extending their first bans versus other teams on heroes like Nyx Assassin or Mars or Ancient Apparition. So when you're playing against Nigma, you've always got that IO first phase, and that frees up the hero. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean that opens up the draft a lot for the teams as well.
Is this the first game with Nyx like unpicked and unbanned?
Must be one of the very few games.
It's pretty good for EG here.
Yeah.
It's good versus Phoenix. You start Sunray, and it should be good versus Lina.
Also,
good versus Axe.
Yeah, it should be, I think, because you know.
Spike Carapace into the counter helix.
Yeah.
Also, EG loves the spirit heroes, which Nyx tends to counter.
Yeah.
So that removes that threat already from the draft.
They ignore it. Alright, so in terms of bans, we got a couple cores on the side of PSG.LGD with the Terrorblade, the Ursa, and the Storm. TA, Clock, and Elder Titan removed by EG. And the Lina this time, of course, on the side of PSG.LGD. Could still go multiple roles as well.
I can see this as a 4 Lina or mid Lina, but I would like to see a mid Lina, because nothing to say is Lina is insane.
Yeah, I think if you see two range supports, I think putting your Lina mid is really good. Generally, the range supports aren't going to be able to gank her, and in a pure 1v1, I don't actually think there are any matchups that Lina loses.
That's a really good point, actually, and AA and Snapfire are not heroes that gank mid very easily in the first place. Like, they do suffer rotating. They're kind of follow-up heroes.
I'm actually so shocked that Nyx got all the way to the, what should I call it, the fourth pick?
Fourth
Am I supposed to say out of these fourth pick?
Yeah.
So many words, though. I don't like it.
I know.
Like
it's not efficient at all.
Yeah.
Is this 19? This is 19.
No, this is not.
19?
Nyx Assassin.
This would be 17.
Whatever.
Okay, so for PSG's fourth pick, they got Nyx Assassin. This is after the first. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Nyx Assassin has been picked 16 times because he's been banned so many times. 69% win rate.
Nice. Yeah, and this is with the Nyx Assassin. I think in every single one of those picks, it was first two.
Yeah.
It's a 69% win rate while being first two, which means your other heroes are also a counter Nyx.
Maybe they weren't so concerned about the Nyx because they aren't going to play this into core mid.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they sort of wanted to bait this hero because they had to know that LGD was going to pick it.
For
And
sure.
you can see like DK, okay, we have to deal with Lina and Nyx. DK is actually a hero that's good versus both of them. I'm not actually 100% sure about how the lane works. I know before the water runes came, sometimes Lina could spam out even a DK from lane if you went 2-0-1. Or I remember Bra would sometimes try to go like 0-2-1, and that was like you win this lane so hard or you're useless. But I think nothing to say we'll play like some stable 2-0-1 and he'll out farm the DK anyways.
Also, something to note is that Snapfire does not like to play versus Nyx Assassin. It's not the worst thing in the world for her, but they're going to be heavily dependent on the Mortimer's Kisses and the Mars Arena for damage, and Nyx can just press Carapace, and that's enough of
that's a
that.
good point.
That's really enough of that. So maybe they weren't really thinking about the Nyx Assassin.
I mean,
Flew under the
to be
radar?
honest, I think Snapfire, like when he first came out, the Mortimer's Kisses were most of the hero.
Higher damage.
Yeah, they're higher damage. So you pick Snapfire for that ulti, and you're correct in that Nyx does counter a lot of Snapfire's toolkit. However, I do feel like this hero is strong enough that even though you play against this Nyx, he's still a strong hero.
I agree, but I do think she's the main source of damage in Arena.
They have AA Blast. I think they should be able to burst off this AA. I mean, because the thing is, like, you can cancel the Snapfire ulti, but you still get 3 hits off, right? If you're throwing at range. So, like, a couple hits of Snapfire ulti with an AA ulti, I think any hero should die. But you won't get, like, this insane ulti against the...
The lack of Mortimer's Kisses. No. Wraith King.
So is there, like, some counterplay you want EG to do to that? Like, maybe that means they have to find the Nyx first? Because they do have tools for that.
I think they can just play Snapfire for the rest of her kit, you know, and
Okay.
for her shard or her ags or whatever. She does not have to be fit for her ulti. I just think that she was a big part of their team fight being so
Yeah, okay.
scary, and now she isn't so much anymore. But it's like you said, she does have a very useful toolkit.
She does, even if she didn't have ultimate this game, she would still be a good team fighter though, just because of the Phoenix, right? Just because you'll be able to use your...
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know any skill names, your third spell to kill the Phoenix egg.
Little Shredder.
Thank
Fire-
you.
oh,
Little
yeah.
Shredder.
I can't
So I
read.
do have a comment on Wraith King. I actually don't like this hero so much when he comes out versus low cooldown heroes like Axe and Lina and Nyx. I think his biggest strength is when he tanks a Chrono or he tanks a Doom or he tanks a Ravage. And there's not really any big cooldown that he's playing for. He's just going to be played on the merit of
Yeah, that's true for sure. I think his ultimate
the
is
rest
lower
of his
value.
kit.
However, like when you think about AA as a hero, I think he also enjoys having
Laning with
a hero with a stun.
There's
That's
a
a
side
carry
effect
axe.
for sure.
Darkseer. Okay.
That's an Ame Axe again.
A carry axe with a vacuum. That's actually terrifying if you hit that combo because there's so much pure damage coming out.
When we saw it in the previous series, though, on the lane, it kind of fell flat.
Well-
Did they have enough to catch up this time around?
He got 3v2'd in that game,
Yes.
and then I think like as a hero, Axe should be really strong as a safe lane. Like Battle Hunger is one of the best spells for helping you support on the side, but I mean I don't know. Nothing to say has been a beast on Lina. So even if his lane does go badly, I think he does.
I don't like the Wraith King. I just want to say it from now. I understand picking it to lane well with AA, but last game, they won their lane really hard. Fabian was a solo Omni Knight, but they didn't really turn it into anything, really. So,
Yeah, and
I'm
I
just
think
gonna
you're
say that
right.
I'm
Like
not a
LGD
fan.
have a lot of sustained damage, right? Like the Iron Shell, Lina spells have low cooldown. Even if you're saying basically like you tank the stuff, but then they have more once you revive, and then you don't have like the normal effect of the Wraith King. I think that sounds right.
and do you remember how I was talking about how Batrider likes to play with heroes like Nyx Assassin? Mid lane is very similar to that because she does rush the BOTs, and Nyx Assassin loves to set up on side lanes. So I can see them just out maneuvering them through the map this whole game.
So you don't really believe in EG Game 2?
I'm not a believer. I could be wrong, but I don't like it so much.
Actually, I mean I think I like EG's draft more than last game,
Okay.
and because I'm from NA, I'm gonna say EG's gonna win this one for the
Right.
boys.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the weaknesses in EG's draft that Effie mentioned are like, now that you mention it, they're like, ugh, I'm a bit scared, you know?
Too many holes.
At the same time, like, it is like an Axe Lina core. Like, I don't know if it's because I haven't seen enough of this, but the cores on LGD are experimental, and they are a team that has, like, gone too far at times.
That's fair. That's fair. They are a bit experimental, but I've
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Sorry.
And you already had the Blightstone, I believe, pick up from Crit. That's true. You had a little Shredder on top of that, and he actually can't really tank hits very well. So yeah, this is definitely a battle where I feel like both cores are going to feel a little not the happiest, let's say.
Yeah, and Abed off to a great start middle as well. This is a somewhat skill-based matchup, but realistically, DK should win it. You have the Quelling Blade advantage. It's actually tough to last hit as Lina because you get that attack speed up from the Fervor, but when you tank the Dragon Breath, your last hit damage is significantly reduced, and DK almost always can out-hit you. And of course, DK now with the free runes will still getting a bottle early. Typically in the past you might play without it, just double bracer.
Oh man, looks like he got very
Dire's
low.
courier has
Just
been
as we were
killed.
talking about both the cores feeling the hate of the opposing support, both of them taking a lot of harassment here. Ame will miss out on a bit of CS. They managed to get the first blood. Just barely killing Fly before Faithbeyond ends up falling. And Jinkyo, nice use of the spike carapace. He's going to get stunned up here in Arteezy. Not actually backing down. Reed. Bottom lane is they managed to get the kill finally onto Ame.
I don't think he'll mind too much. He got his gold spent before he died, and he kind of needed to heal anyway. He was out of regen. He was too low for a ring of health to play too much of a role in his lane strength. So, thought that was a bit surprising, but it's really tough for Fly to play this lane if he tanks a stun with Nyan Shell nearby. When it gets pushed up near the tower, that's when the Darkseer starts to thrive.
Radiant structures are
Yeah, and I think
fortified.
Darkseer
Play too much of a role
he had this
in his lane strength, so thought that was a bit surprising, but it's really tough for Fly to play this lane if he tanks a stun with Nyan Shell nearby. When it gets
Nyx Assassin's Clockworks in this vacuum feels so much better as they're going to be able to, there it is.
Yeah.
It's just the extra little bit you need to be able to get these kills.
Yeah, and this is very dangerous now. All of a sudden, they're just diving Arteezy.
Yeah, RTZ is very likely dead here. Let's see if he can juke it out somehow. He does have 9 magic wand charges, so maybe he's actually good. As a whipped impale goes out, he jukes to the left, but the Ion Shell on the Faith Beyond actually did manage to get a tick onto RTZ, kind of showed him the way, and ends up finding carry of the evil geniuses.
Nice huge love. They kill Phoenix top bottom, but this is getting dangerous up top. The trouble with AA in this spot is that you have no method of getting back into the lane.
Yeah.
You can't go push a wave. You can't really gank anywhere, so you're just now a stack bot. You know, he'll probably look to do that soon, but the thing is, EG don't really have anything that can clear stacks too well either.
Watch that one again. Yeah, nice cookie into spear combo. And, I guess we'll watch RTZ die again in a way. RTZ is going to die again, by the way. That is not a replay, that's just a bit of deja vu, so he's going to have to do the walk of shame.
And remember, we were saying they picked Wraith King not necessarily for the game, but for the laning phase. And if you're getting bodied in the laning phase, suddenly things look good.
Radiant's middle
Honestly, I
tower
think
is under
you should
attack.
be looking at this and keeping this combo in mind whenever these teams early pick Ancient Apparition.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's supposed to be Ancient Apparition is paired with the Wraith King, Sven, Troll.
Yeah.
Like those 3 heroes to make the Cold Feet work. And they're just showing how to body it.
And 3, I mean, EG won the lane last game, still got wrecked. And right now, PSG.LGD arguably ahead in all of the mob ed. Slight CS lead, but I'm once again worried for EG's damage output. And yeah, Fly is just getting solo killed by Iron Shell and Nyx Assassin. Arteezy's in the jungle.
Yeah, he's done with the lane. I don't blame him. I don't think he can do that
Radiant's
anymore.
top tower is under attack.
Ooh, man, LGD, they're off to a running start here. They're going to need Crit and Ice to do a lot of work. Once again, Ame abandoning the lane relatively early because that's what Axe can do. A little bit different than, say, the Wraith King, who you don't really want to abandon lane this early. You want to get at those higher level skeletons before you do that. Crit going for the kill here
Dire's
onto
top tower
Y.
is under
This spear
attack.
isn't quite enough.
Didn't latch.
Didn't latch to anything. Maybe they could have gone for another right click before
Radiant's
throwing out the
middle
spear,
tower
but they
is
thought
under
they had
attack.
it. Top lane tower
Dire's
dead
top
by
tower
7
is
minutes.
under
Yeah,
attack.
and noticeably, Faith Beyond, I've seen a lot of soul rings on the
Dire's
Darkseer.
top
He went for
tower has
bottle
fallen.
into Arcanes. I actually like that decision. It's part of why they were able to
Dire
pressure
are
so hard.
scanning.
He got the fresh bottle and then just spammed the ions, dove with the wave. They killed a tower and what, 4 or
Radiant's
5
bottom
enemy
tower
heroes
is under attack.
in less than 7 minutes. This is insane for PSG.LGD, and they're now denying our team's jungle.
Ame tries to come out of the jungle, defend his tower, and it's a good idea too. Even with Abed here,
Vanguard.
they are kind of running out of damage because of the Vanguard. The rest of the TP's coming in from LGD. Jin Q still looking to catch up to Ice. Drops a sentry for a little bit of vision. Actually managed to get a spike carpet back on a spear. And then the Dragon Slave finished him off. And LSA stopped Dragon Knight's damage. They tried to get the cookie. And he killed Jin Q.
That was actually just perfect from Ahmed. He goes to the woods when he might be a little susceptible to getting killed by that exact rotation and comes back with a Vanguard. So Raindrop, Wand, Vanguard, he straight up has no fear because once again,
Radiant's
EG's
middle
damage
tower
output
is under
very
attack.
limited at the moment. It's concerning. You know, I don't think EG's playing poorly by any means, but PSG.LGD, they are on one today. Have looked excellent thus far.
7-4. It does feel like the laning phase is a bit of a disaster for EG. LGD is up by just 1,000 net worth. That's a lot for the laning phase, but it hasn't spiraled too far out of control, I guess.
This is the concern. We're watching a Wraith King Jungle-amitis. I've seen this in NA matchmaking, but typically you don't see it as
Double
often
damage.
in the international Dota 2 tournaments. Did he skip one in the series before?
Yeah, he went Vanguard into Manta,
Yeah.
into the Shard. Next Assassin setting up. They're gonna see if they can kill RTZ and take away the Reincarnation. I'm wondering if they feel like they can go for him twice here. Shin Q is certainly setting up for it, but then the Ancient Apparition shows himself. That's fine.
Radiant's
Reincarnation
bottom
level 1
tower
is
is
a
under
huge
attack.
cooldown.
Oh yeah. And they get the Wraith King
Dire's
illusion too,
structures
so that'll
are
be Ion
fortified.
Shell that'll steal some camps. Really just trying to slow down the farm.
Radiant's bottom tower
Good
has
idea all
fallen.
around. And great
Dire's
stuff.
middle tower
LGD
is
looks
under
great.
attack.
Yeah. And Darkseer in a game like this just feels so fun. You have your top tower dead, you've got tons of space. You're gonna just stack, grab runes when necessary, but you have a partner.
Dire's
Like LGD,
courier
they
has
have
been
all three
killed.
things you love when you're a Darkseer. Multiple stuns that you can back into. A support that you play within the laning phase, and then assist to find kills later on, and then also a core you can Ion Shell, Surge, and play around. So everything that you need, plus a great start to the game. Looks like he's getting the hood first. We'll probably make a pipe at some point. Very effective. We mentioned already how the magical damage of EG's support is going to be key for them to win, but if you can negate the entire Ice Blast and Nyx Assassin can interrupt the cookies, suddenly those heroes just fall off. And once again, EG, lower damage output, all 3 strength cores, mostly rely on stun CC combos to find kills. And unfortunately, all 3 are behind their enemy counterparts in terms of net worth.
Yeah, all of a sudden 3,000 net worth lead for LGD. Now this feels like I was wondering. I was like, how is it only 1K? Yeah, this seems a little bit more realistic as PSG.LGD are moving on out with the Nyx Assassin.
It was just
Looking for anybody.
It was deceptive because PSG.LGD had sacks.
Dire's
why is
middle
that
tower is under attack.
That's weird. He's dead now.
EG, they've been just farming jungle this whole time, but PSG.LGD, like, they had an ancient stack, they had a couple stacks that Ame cleared, so
Dire's
they're
middle
feeling
tower
fine.
is
Yeah,
under
this
attack.
is how you want to play it. Look at the warding. They just kind
Dire's
of
middle
suddenly
tower
shift
has
themselves upriver and now take enemy ancients and save theirs for later. Because if you can deny these camps, it's a real natural extension then to take mid tower as they just did. Nothing to say picking that up.
So for the copium of the fans,
Yes.
LGD or excuse me, Evil Geniuses should at least have better late game, right? Lina, Axe, Darkseer cores.
Man, this new Axe shard is serious business. I think it won't be the last time we see this. It is not a meme. This is a real thing.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't know how well it
Radiant's bottom
scales when we get to
tower is
15
under
minutes.
attack.
Sure. At the end of the day, it isn't scaling damage. So we'll be best around that 20 to 30 minute mark.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
he's rushing pipe. I love this move from Faith Beyond. You've got plenty of mana just with Bottle and Arcanes, so he's spamming Ion almost off cooldown. And this effectively gives his entire team plus 400 health when they take the first team fight, and the base 10% magic resist.
Give him the Iron Shell and watch him go.
Dire's top
Next
tower
assassin,
is
not
under
gonna go
attack.
for the Dragon Knight, that's a hard
Are
kill.
scanning.
Go for crit instead, that's an easy kill. Or is it so easy? He needs a little bit more for this blind crits. Tries to beat a code here for the Dragon Knight, but that's not gonna help him out. Now flying, he's gonna get caught by Ame, who's waiting on the high ground for him. Gets the call, gets the kill.
This is, again, Dream Darks here. I love that play. You're pushing top, you're taking all of this farm, and then your next assassin just says, hey, Ion Shell me real quick and throw me a surge as a TP, and it sets up for now not one but 2 kills because the rest of the squad's already there. It's just really well done by PSG.LGD. You can see JJ drew a little line on the map just kind of demonstrating the crease they're now pushing EG into. All of a sudden they take this little lead and it acquires map control. Yeah, the ward on the Dire Ancients was new, but they still have total control of the map.
That was cute. Faith Beyond dropped his bottle off because it was an illusion rune for a core axe. Best rune for axe by far. That's easily going to get him an extra 300, 400 gold, and that's going to be 300, 400 gold that Evil Geniuses is also going to get denied from them as it's going to be inside of their own jungle. The Ice Blast coming in. Shinkyu does get hit by some of this. Ice is looking to be able to catch him with the arena, and they do. Nice by Carapace. Stalled it down, but eventually he will indeed die.
It's a lot of spells. AA Blast, Arena, DK form. Meanwhile, an illusion is chasing Arteezy out of his own jungle. This is just the gold advantage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
No personal
Radiant
bias here, but it
structures
just
are
feels like
fortified.
PSG.LGD is nuts. Like I'm trying to think about how could they play this game more efficiently. It feels like they've slowed the pace down a little bit, but they're still out GPMing, and it's to get their next core items online. They've recognized, look, Arteezy has a Midas. He's not going to be a threat for a lot of time, so we have the opportunity to chill a little bit. Let's make sure our moves are measured. Probably get the Manta, and then you'll look to see them just take aggression, or just go right now. They do have Egg. Pipe is ready.
Dire's top tower is
Honestly.
under attack.
LGD, they could just keep this going. No big cooldowns that they're forced to play around besides this Supernova lining up on Ice. He is using the Starfire. It's a pretty good effect, but eventually he's going to be caught by a stun and then brought down pretty swiftly. Faith Beyond dominating for him. Arteezy quick to try and push out the bottom lane as rapidly as possible. He's going to go for a Radiance, which is kind of an interesting idea. Darks here?
Okay. I think this... I don't want to say, EG, I don't want to say they look lost, but I've seen this at Arteezy before. When in doubt, your team's kind of falling apart in terms of their early to mid-game execution, so just minus Radiance, and
When in
hopefully...
doubt, farm it out. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But you make a good point. You're a pretty easy target for a vac wall. Faith Beyond is pretty damn tanky, so I doubt you're going to pick him off at the start of a fight. It's very concerning, but, you know, they're not out of it.
Actually going back for Soul Ring?
It's the most efficient, you know, drop the arcanes, pop Soul Ring.
Double
Backpack.
damage.
Man, I wish I had one of those. TI5.
Oh man. What could have been?
Indeed.
What could have been?
That game was over anyway. This one, however, is not. But EG, you're going to have to stabilize. I like how they've done this just de-warding mission on their own side of the map. You can see 8 sentries currently placed all on their end of the river.
Yep.
Makes sense. You have
Dire's
to
bottom
clear
tower
this
is
bottom
under
triangle to just have any hope of being able to recover. They're still bleeding a little bit in terms of the net worth advantage, but that's just natural when PSG.LGD have 3 cores that all loves to shove
Radiant are
waves.
scanning.
Well, it's about to get worse. Axe Manta now means that more of that, like that one illusion room that went and took all their neutrals, now that's going to be happening constantly. That was Ame's entire idea. Every single Manta illusion he popped, I just watch him and they'd run into the enemy jungle and take whatever neutrals were available there.
Yep. They have great team fights still waiting. Have we seen an egg yet?
Dire's bottom
No, we
tower
haven't.
is under attack.
Thanks, JJ. You know, we missed out on Ice
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Supernova. That was sick.
That's a typical, you know, game over, but nothing to say isn't the only one who can acquire style points, but
Yeah.
definitely well done. What is
Radiant's
I guess
middle tower
Tico
is under
Yule's
attack.
first? Yeah, just Yule's into BKB. That's a slight, or it wasn't even a miscue. I think he might have seen a peep there, either a Vortex or an enemy hero. So better safe than sorry. He just BKBs and walks away.
Sure, that's fair enough. I mean, that is one of the things about mid Lena, and I used to talk about this with whenever we would watch Limp play mid Lena. It's like you can get ahead really easily, but the danger is you could throw away your lead.
Oh yeah, you just die all game if you get jumped on. And EG have engineered a draft that can do that quite effectively. A blast on top of one of the stuff.
Spear. Inamorphous kisses, the ice blast, it's not going to be enough. They don't have the damage. Now the A goes off, but Ice still right back into it. The stun goes off. Crit is waiting to try and give him a cookie out of here. In fact, he actually doesn't need it. PSG.LGD weren't really gunning for a fight there.
Yeah, the one downside of the PSG.LGD draft, though, they don't really have the best tower push. Mentioned that in the start of the game. It's really just Lena that can right-click effectively, so you can see that they're shoving waves. This top tower is exposed, but clicking it is real difficult. You know, Axe isn't exactly gonna siege very well.
No matter how unsure you are about the late game potential of LGD's lineup, it's guaranteed that their lineup, if it does compete late game, it has to have a net worth lead, right? It's one of those kind of lineups. Lena, great example of that. Darkseer,
Radiant's middle
big one
tower
as
is
well.
under attack.
Abed off to pretty nice start there. Finally gonna be able to clear out this mid tower.
Or are they? Gonna leave it at a sliver of HP.
Radiant's middle
Abed
tower
blink
has
away.
been denied.
Ame denying the mid tier 1. Hey, Innocence?
Dire's top tower
He's
is
around
under
here,
attack.
but man, the last time they tried to go on him, they realized he was pretty tanky. They're gonna try for it now. Ice Blast going off. They will not have the Sapphire though. They're trying to finish it. Innocence does die, but so does Crit. They're gonna have to TP away here. No stuns, so should be fine.
Actually gets killed by Jin Q because he made a call for the offensive play on the Snapfire. So rather than run away, he turns uphill, but of course, Invis DK. Nothing you can do there, 1 for 1.
Blink Dagger now online, so I'm expecting this game to pick up a little bit faster pace for PSG.LGD.
Yeah, just my fear, if you're an EG fan,
You just have to wait for the shard. It's not even fun.
exactly.
Sorry.
But everything's on pace, right? Like, you think about what was the game plan for PSG.LGD, they've gotten everything they wanted. Like, they own top, the Darkseer activated, the Nyx Assassins, NQ is owning, and you have this timing where about at 20 minutes exactly, Ame will have the gold for shard and all the items he wants beforehand.
Dire's
So
bottom tower is under
this
attack.
is the draft. They've been able to play it the way they wanted. Now it's a question of, does EG think that they have an answer? Is this Radiance going to get Arteezy into the game fast
Dire's
enough?
bottom tower is under attack.
Radiance minus Phase Boots. Man, is not very tanky.
No, and the concern is, you know, again, PSG.LGD, they don't have any huge spells with the exception of the egg. A lot of quick disables, so they kill him once, maybe with an egg on top. Another BKB, slightly low, but nothing to say. But you can see he recognizes his fragility. Like, if he gets popped, he will just die. So has to ensure that any blink DK stun would immediately be BKB'd. He is the main target for EG because, again, he's really their one source of real physical right-click damage.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the greatest source of damage that is most likely to be killing the Wraith King in that first life, and then if they put the Supernova over the top as he reincarnates, he's 100% dead again.
Yep. Now they have 2 stuns, Call, Yules. It's just all about finding an EG hero. And EG, they've done a really good job. Again, the vision control. We haven't really seen PSG.LGD get any vision on the EG side of the map for a while now. So they've stabilized. You know, that gold lead's still firmly in LG's favor, but it's not moving. It's all fine for now.
Yep.
And Arteezy, because he has the Midas Radiance, he's starting to keep up. You know, no matter Ame or nothing to say, he's going to be able to farm equally. But he has to be cautious, because we mentioned the Darkseer wall can be troubling when you run Radiance. But the Nyx Assassin, you can see him having to toggle it off, because if he ventures into the Nyx Invis, and there's just a Carapace, he'll be immediately stunned, and it's the easiest kill you'll find.
Alright, time to do Roshan. Pure damage of the Axe coming into play here with the Manta.
Yeah, maybe Axe does do some pretty significant right-click damage.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot.
No, this hero blinks on you and plus Manta afterwards, seriously. I was astonished so many times at how much damage he could do.
Dire's
This
top
is
tower
not
is
a
under
joke.
attack.
This is not a meme. This is real.
Oh yeah, I forgot because the free attack speed too.
Yep.
That's a lot. Yeah, attack speed 35, attack speed 5% proc
Dire's
chance.
top tower is under attack.
That's
Radiant
very good.
structures
Now, just
are
imagine if that was
fortified.
10% like it used to be. He was just always
Dire's
spinning.
top
It's
tower
terrifying.
has fallen.
The attack, I mean, consider a Glove of Haste is 450 for 20 attack speed. So just for that, Shard really only costs, what, like 700?
Yeah,
It's like
700, something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like half price for the benefit of the proc chance and then the added ability of spinning on attack. So pretty solid. Yeah, we're gonna see
survived
results in
fire.
GQ.
Hobbit actually blinking the smoke and blinking away. Blink. He breaks the smoke and blinks away. Blinking. There you go. Ice. Also going to do something similar, almost getting caught by the vacuum. TP away. Nobody of EG getting caught. Yeah, I want to see
Radiant's bottom
LGD
tower
like
is
actually
under
get a win here
attack.
because I'm getting slightly concerned, not majorly, but slightly concerned that EG hasn't been caught in any of these moves yet.
Dire's
And the
bottom
net worth
tower
hasn't
is under
spiraled
attack.
any further. It's now gone from 7 to 8k in pretty much the last 7 minutes.
Oh, nice smoke break.
Nice
Invisibility.
Q. Great positioning by him.
They got a great ward now as well behind tier 2 bottom. And keep in mind, they still have
Dire's
outpost control.
bottom tower has fallen.
Poking his Dragonite doesn't have much mana. They do have the arena, which Q actually runs into with a spike carefree. He does it for a moment. Now the spear actually catching a Darkseer illusion. Then you have the Supernova that gets caught by Grit though. He reads it perfectly well. We jump in though. And she gets cool and play. He fused it on the Dragonite. That finishes him off. Crit's gonna be up next. He needs another swing though. Isn't quite gonna be able to get it, looks like, as Crit looks to slow him down with a Solar Crest and run away back to the safety of his tree. A mine after mixes out. Look at him again. There it is. Ame blinking back in to hit the Culling Blade. That finishes off Crit.
And Shinju just playing unbelievably.
Oh, yeah.
He breaks the smoke, he tanks the brunt of the damage, juked a bunch of
Dire's
abilities
middle
too
tower
to
has
ensure
fallen.
EG had to blow more cooldown. They did a really good target switch onto the egg to pick it off. But you can see the Darkseer illusion of the Wraith King was instrumental in finishing the kill on Crit, so that all I'm able to do is blink forward and execute with the axe.
Radiant are scanning.
BKB soon to be completed. Yeah, just
Dire's
firing on
bottom
cylinders.
tower is under
EG once
attack.
again having some pretty significant damage issues. They need more items. They're DK and Wraith King specifically. Ice went for the hood first, so he's going to drop off. It's just the nature of the hero.
Yeah.
More about the mitigation at the moment.
All right, so now they've got control of the Dire jungle
are
because
scanning.
they've gotten the tier 2s, they've taken the outposts. Now they're able to kind of like freely invade the triangle. Evil geniuses are going to find that net worth starting to spiral quite a bit because there's just not too many places they can push out fearlessly anymore. It's LGD. Wouldn't be surprised to see them make another move. Honestly, there's not too much to really have to wait on, just the Supernova. BKB now complete for Ame, isn't even hitting that level 18. He's gonna hit level 18 and level 20, which are pretty big spikes for an axe.
He's falling so fast. And he has so much more freedom due to the map control, so you can see him just kind of lonesome walking through the woods, jungling with Manta. EG, they're forced to hold hands.
Yep.
Yeah, DK split pushing, but everybody else backed up behind Arteezy. They know something's coming.
Arteezy does have the BKB with the reincarnation, but on the initiation here, and that's going to be on the Mars. No arena here. Arteezy into the course on the BKB entirely. So much slowly pointing up and watch this Ame axe.
They're just gonna walk high ground.
Yes, they
He
are.
bought out, right? He doesn't have a buyback.
Yep,
He
he
just
bought out
managed
his
to
BKB. He just used that BKB. They know about it
Dire's
now.
structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They're just gonna walk high ground.
Yes.
Nigma just 2-0'd Vici in like 39 minutes, both games total. They haven't been challenged, honestly. Like, this is nuts.
It does feel like these two teams are a step ahead of everybody else in both the wild cards and the, well, in this case for LGD, the group stage.
And this is what you love to see. Cut the waves.
Yep.
Don't worry about needing it necessarily.
TP, they're actually going to try and catch him because they know he's a little bit isolated here. 13 seconds for an agent. Okay, BKB, TP out. He knows he's in danger. He would have been slowly picked at until the Aegis actually expired.
Abed doing his best ice impression, dropping the bottle, try and bait a cancel.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Learning from the best.
One was meant
Going
to.
forward. Arteezy, he doesn't have recognition. They don't even need the look on play from him. Now the Supernova's going to go up. They may be inside the arena with an ice blast, but they cannot force the commitment here. Nothing to say. Pop the BKB, give it a surge.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle
Oh my
tower
god,
is
they
under
are
attack.
just bodying EG. You know, on the other stream, Nigma just 2-0'd Vici in like 39 minutes, both games total.
Yep.
PSG.LGD, it's going to take a little longer, but it looks like they've got EG on the ropes and haven't been challenged, honestly. Like, this is nuts. Right?
Yep.
Don't worry about needing it necessarily.
Fast TPing. They're actually going to try and catch him because they know he's a little bit isolated here. 13 seconds for an agent. Okay, BKB TP out. He knows he's in danger. He would have been slowly.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So AY said something interesting. He said he felt like LGD changes their draft based off of what the opponent is weak against in some way. It feels like they are not one of those Chinese
Dire's
teams who
bottom
keeps
tower is under
strict
attack.
draftings,
Yeah.
but
Dire's
they
bottom
change
tower
and evolve
has
based
fallen.
off of who they're matched up against.
Yeah, and in this case, it looks like they've addressed EG's tendency to all in on a single core with a very solid dual core lineup that's focused on peaks between 15 and 20 minutes. Like, same exact concept. Sure, the heroes have changed, but ultimately it's the same idea, right?
Yeah.
Get an early lead, get an early Roche, take map control, out farm, and just have this overwhelming damage advantage and win the game before the huge carry of EG can become the one-man wrecking machine. And in this case, they even dominated the lanes. Last game was a much more troublesome laning phase for them, and it took them a little longer to recover, but here it's just, they're casually, look at the map, you know? Think about how it was for the first 10 minutes, pretty much even. Then they moved the crease up a little bit and started taking over EG jungle. Now they're saying, we're gonna ward and keep you in your base. Good luck.
Crit in some trouble. Impale is going to go out now. The rest of the Evil Geniuses was smoking over. Crit by the dives, but they missed out of the arena
Dire's bottom
execution.
tower is under attack.
Ice. They're just going to stall him out. The rest of the Evil Geniuses, they give up all hopes of taking the team fight now. Once again, trapped inside their base.
I got no words, Cap. It's just, how do you get back
Dire's
into
middle
EG?
tower is under attack.
Unsure. You know, we talked about the damage issues.
Dire's
I question
middle
whether you
tower
want
has
both your
fallen.
DK and your Mars to go hood first. When you already have these damage
Dire's
issues, you
middle
can see
barracks has
PSG.LGD,
fallen.
the defensive items, like, come on. Yeah, Darkseer bought a pipe, but
Dire's middle barracks
he had
has
plenty,
fallen.
all he needs is mana to sustain his net worth, right? He's an Ion Sheller. That's his
Radiant's
job.
top tower is under attack.
Solar Crest Rush on the Phoenix, you know, offensive only items for the other two cores.
Axolution. Cutting a free save like that, he's now got an AC. They're going to be able to do the next Roshan. They do it very quickly, again, because of Axe. He's now level 20.
389 CS in 29 minutes.
Yeah. Everyone else, once you get the Manta Axe, everyone else is allowed to hunt and stay off map constantly because of what Manta illusions do for you.
And the best part is you don't have to show.
Exactly. Calling blades being used on Arteezy for his first life. He's going to come back in with a BKB. They actually managed to find the lead. With no BKB activated, they can actually kill him. Top 30 seconds. The Mortimer Kids is doing somebody. Arteezy's down. They're trying to finish off the egg. They get it. So apparently, about 3 hands stuck with the Always dead, actually, and Evil Geniuses have won this fight. They're going to try and finish up by killing Shinkyu, and should be able to. Fly is going to die to Arteezy's illusion from the Darkseer wall.
Well, they did what they had to do. They killed Alina.
Yep.
I counted them out. Perhaps a little too soon.
I don't think they can
find
find
the
the
right
Roshan, though, without Arteezy. This would be great if like they won a team fight and they can go Roshan, and all of a sudden the game it becomes competitive. And they're still gonna try.
They do have
The best little shredder.
they have an advantage. You can see them pinging the outpost. Well played. Ice is going to go grab it so that Arteezy can TP in just a little bit closer. They have no tier 2 towers, and also they lost the mid racks. So
It's just something about that Phaethion's like just trying to pull him out of the pit just to slow him down a little bit. Yeah, they can't do it. Just the Phoenix and Darkseer alone.
why did they lose the mid racks?
What they went mid earlier. Like as Roshan was spawning, they after the pick on Mars, they killed Crit and then they killed Mars and then they ran it mid and just took it. Okay, go. I know, this axe is befuddling.
I'm just following the illusions around. This is the timing, though. They got one fight, now you need another. Reincarnate's back up. They have to follow that same MO. 15 on the Reincarnate, but you have to kill the Lina. You have to kill the Lina pre-BKB. That is your fight window here.
God, it's so hard because if you're all inning on the Lina like that, it's just like a dream opening for Faith Beyond to hit just this gigantic wall vacuum. Maybe there's a car over the top. Like, answer, they make the jump in. They make the fight the beat. Nice call. Make interception, but it's not enough for Blackfield to get off his open. Don't have a bite. There goes the call. There goes the ball. They call one after the other. Now on goes the last one like one. Actually, RTZ comes back in his second life, but it's not going to get There's so much damage. He just dies in an instant. His second life is like his first. It doesn't do a damn thing. And crit. Okay, stop that.
Regeneration.
They're dead. Evil geniuses, well, they're mostly dead. They're going to give up Roshan and maybe even a second lane of Barracks.
Faith Beyond, man. It's a dream Dark Seer game for reasons expressed, but he's also has the luxury of being able to be completely ignored. You know, e.g. they have to go for the Lina, they have to think about Ame. He's just getting loose, he's just chilling. Look at all the way over in the corner, hanging out. I'm going to surge myself. He pre-clicks wall, hangs out, vacuum on 3. He gets all the necessary cores. And now you have a level 18 DK illusion. And it's just reincarnate. He's dead.
Every single time he's popping the BKB, he's like, it'll be okay. And then the pure damage of this axe.
Yeah. Love this too. The Lincoln's on nothing to say. Because he recognizes as long as I don't get stunned by DK, I'm going to get BKB off and go in the fight.
I know, that's a great point.
Dire's top tower.
So, second lane.
Dire's top barracks are
Evil
under
geniuses
attack. Dire's
now
top
left.
barracks has fallen. Dire's top barracks
One
has
more
fallen.
team fight in this series. They lose here against LGD. Their chance of being upper bracket slim to none, I think.
Yeah, especially after the performance from Nigma so far today, would put them in a scenario where they have to get at least one, probably 2 from their series later today.
Sun being thrown out, man to dodge pretty easily. Meanwhile, nothing to say to popping his BKB, and using that, we'll burn out Ice, RTZ Reincarnation.
Dire's
Goes
top
down,
is
comes
under
back
attack.
up,
Dire's
and
bottom tower has
for
fallen.
the secondary kill. This is just a monstrous stuff.
One fight, we got out of it. PSG.LGD respawn, wiped the floor with up 2 consecutive team fights in a row. The Aliax.
Welcome back to the AniMajor. We're ready for our third series of the day here in the group stages. I'm joined by Jenkins and Tsunami. And before we go into our next series, quick note of what I said previous series. PSG.LGD is not facing Team Nigma tomorrow because they already did that earlier. They're facing Vici Gaming tomorrow. And on top of that, PSG.LGD has now secured upper bracket playoffs. Doesn't matter even if they bomb out tomorrow. They got it secured upper bracket. So there's that. There's two teams that have very different stories. One team, extremely different stories. We got Team Liquid versus TNC, and Team Liquid has been shit in the bed a little bit. We're gonna see if they can step it up today, because otherwise they will be part of two teams getting eliminated from the group stages. And on the other side, TNC, they looked really good, but then I think they kind of struggled. I guess everybody struggles with PSG.LGD though, Tsunami.
For sure. And you're saying that if LGD bomb out tomorrow, it's not that big of a deal? It's a big deal for Liquid. They're playing Liquid last, aren't they? Isn't that the...
PSG.LGD is playing Vici Gaming tomorrow last.
What was the LGD Liquid result?
I will tell you...
I'm going to make an assumption that it was a 2-0 for LGD.
Wild guess, Tsunami, but you were absolutely on point. It was a trashing yesterday. Absolute trashing.
Everything's been a trashing for Liquid.
Okay, so where do we want to start? Do we want to start with that? Because I feel like we're kind of kicking a dead horse. I want to talk about TNC, Jenkins. They look good, but...
Yeah, exactly. But you could argue like maybe TNC was in a bit of panic mode after their day one.
Yeah.
And then it just turned out to work very well for them.
They adjusted and it worked. Team Liquid adjusted. Didn't work so far. Record shows though, Leipzig Major as well as Chengdu Major, so the last two majors of the previous season where TI never happened. Team Liquid beat TNC both times around. Even, yes, that is even the major that TNC won. It was Team Liquid that beat them in the group stages, and then they never faced again after that.
Yeah, but you know who was on that Liquid? It was Boxing.
Yeah.
And there was an interesting statistic that Knoxville shared pretty shortly thereafter the Singapore Major that of the 5-man roster, this Liquid with Boxy has now the second most games played as a 5-man roster, second only to the TI3, TI4 Alliance. And so
that's crazy,
at this point, you got to be wondering, like, for a team that has already proven to be very emotionally driven, you can see it in their interviews, in their like webcam reactions, and all of the behind-the-scenes stuff. You have to wonder that a little bit of the magic must be missing. As great of a player as Sumail is, it's not all about in-game performance a lot of the times. It's about what you can bring out of the game.
You also have this issue of Kyiv switching to the offlane. He's done a wonderful job so far. I've been really impressed with how quick his transition was, considering how long he played the mid lane for. And that's the thing, though. It's like you can push this up to a certain level. At some point, it's going to be clear that there are offlaners that are more skilled than you are in that particular role. It takes a long time to fully swap to a role. You have to play through multiple metas, which sometimes can take like a year. So that's I hate to single out a single player, but that could be a point for them where it's like, okay, if we had Boxy, we'd actually have Kyiv on his original position. We wouldn't be in this interesting scenario where we basically have two mid laners, and you can see that they even try to make it work with this like this lone druid off lane, which is super interesting, but it didn't really pan out.
Yeah, those are the kinds of desperation picks that I feel they're like, Well, it's not a lateral move. Quakefa and Sumail are not the same type of player. Boxy and Quakefa not the same types of offlaners. And so during the DPC, everyone was very encouraged. Everyone was like, oh wow, this is actually like a surprisingly smooth transition.
Yeah, it worked out.
But
For a while.
not for long. And
Not for
that's
long.
kind of Liquid's thing. In Singapore, they looked really good in the wild cards, started to fizzle out in the group stage.
Yeah, let's see if they can set themselves up for success in the
Is this-
draft at least.
Is this
Speed
all
run.
pick? What is going
Let's
on?
go
This is like all pick. They're just
faster.
Very, very speedy. So, Templar Assassin Enchantress, tried and true. Same thing goes for the Mars Lina, though. So, I don't think we can say anything bad about these openings. Nyx Assassin Viper, Oracle Earth Spirit still removed. Ancient Apparition ignored.
A ignored, Broodmother also ignored right now.
True.
And
TNC
we'll see.
Predator.
Okay, TNC banned out the Razor because that was their response to Templar Assassin.
Yeah.
So
they seem to think that that's like the best response because they had all of the other options in that game and they still opted to pick the Razor instead. And now they're banning it out. I mean, probably they'll ban out the other ones. But
Viper's already banned out by Liquid.
yeah.
And Liquid do like picking Veno in peculiar situations. I know that was BeastCoast's strategy against Templar Assassin. But the thing that surprises me most is that Liquid actually did not opt for a Mars +1 combo right off the bat. Usually it's been Snapfire or Willow or Phoenix. And instead they're like, let's just take the Lina, we'll figure out this rest later.
Yeah, this is like a laning +1. Just the
Yeah.
Mars, even the God's Rebuke is often enough to set up for the Lina stun. And then you can spear off of that, and then Lina stun again off of that because the cooldown is just so low. In the earlier levels, it's worse now than it was previously, but still, like, this is an absolutely brutal lane to go up against. And I think for the most part, when Mars wins the game, we've been seeing him like dumpster lanes. And so if they do end up running the Lina as a 4, there's like nothing that's going to win against Mars Lina. The best that you can hope for is to go even.
So far, Quakefa has played so many different heroes. I feel like, yeah, he's played a different offlane hero every single game they've played so far.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
He's never played Mars this tournament yet.
Well, that explains a lot because Mars is 70% plus win rate, the most picked hero of the tournament. So
Easy! This is an easy win!
You'd think so on paper. But one of the things that I like that teams have been doing against Liquid, the team most famous for stacking constantly, is that they'll first phase heroes that can take stacks. So Templar Assassin on TNC, easy to invade the enemy triangle. I've seen some bristlebacks against them as well. So it may be partially the fact that Quakefa's still finding his place, but also Liquid, their foundation is pretty obvious. Everyone knows Liquid loves to stack. And you abuse it by taking advantage of whenever Insania is missing in the lane, so you start pressuring Mickey, or you bring heroes that can invade the jungle.
Enchantress too is to me is arguably one of the best position 5 jungle invaders because at the point where you want to invade the jungle, the creeps are so powerful, and so you just run a creep up a high ground and it gives vision.
Even
So
she can run up high ground.
she can run
never
up,
dies.
exactly. She because of the heal, she can actually run up high grounds as well. And so you've like the point of having the creep provision then Enchantress as well, and you go on either of them. It's like either you get a creep or Enchantress, which is just a giant pain in the ass to kill. So, great hero at doing that.
And you mentioned that Quakefa had never played Mars before. Has Mickey played Mars? Because that was something that he was doing during the DPC.
Not this tournament yet.
So they haven't picked Mars at all then.
They have not picked Mars. This obviously could also be because Mars has been
Banned.
frequently banned.
For sure.
And they haven't, they just in general haven't prioritized Quakefa's hero first two.
No. I do think though, picking him heroes that double as both mid laners, like I'm sure mid laners and off laners, I'm sure Quakefa in the patch where he was actually playing mid dabbled into Mars because this was a popular kind of cheesy mid pick for quite some time.
Against
So
pucks and stuff like that, especially.
yeah, exactly. The range like harasser heroes. Yeah, it's low armor. Yeah, Mars. So I think this is nice. Like get him something that he's comfortable with because as fast as he has learned the offlane, to be at a level where you're going to beat teams like TNC or Vici or these major teams, like you need to be exceedingly comfortable on every hero.
And now we need to figure out what Sumail is going to get up to. Playing a fair amount of Templar Assassin, but that's on TNC's side. Leshrak's banned out. He did play one Morphling, but I don't know if you want to force feed that.
He played a Pugna. Don't want to.
Oh,
I
yeah.
kind of don't want to see that.
That seems like a pretty good Ember game to me.
Okay, I'd like to see that. Yeah, that could definitely work out. We got Phoenix coming out for TNC. And I think this is their first Phoenix this tournament. Yeah, surprising. And then goes to face the Void coming out for Mickey.
Okay, so the Void pick makes me think that this is going to be a mid Lina. And they're just gonna throw this against the TA because this Faceless Void Lina late game, it's really hard to think of anything that can beat it. It just, you chrono and the Lina does enough damage. I think Lina, you might be able to go into a practice lobby and verify this, but Lina might be like one of the top 5 highest damage cores in the late game, including all carries.
Oh, when you're dishing out the damage and you got the 3 stacks of Fiery Soul, then yeah, you're golden. As long as nobody comes close, because you are still very, very squishy. And definitely would be a little worried about a TA blinking on top of you.
Is it superior to an Invoker with Cataclysm? Because TNC are expecting there's still a mid laner potentially on the horizon for Liquid because they ban out Death Prophet.
The issue with the Invokers, it gets so dumpstered by the TA that it would feel rough for the lane. But no, I think you're right for the game. I mean, Invoker to buff up the Void as well with the Alacrity is amazing. Like Alacrity plus the Cataclysm, it's a very nice combo.
Is the Cold Snap Urn build just dead? Does no one do it anymore?
I think people still do it a decent amount. I think we saw Miracle do that build.
He did?
Yeah, it's fine. It's worse than it was because of the Cold Snap nerfs for sure. But I think it's more like Quas Wex was so OP for quite some time, and now it's a little more balanced.
I'm trying to think of other Sumail heroes that you could slot in, because I'm with you. I think the Lina is a pretty good option. It's been one of Southeast Asia's go-to options whenever you have a Faceless Void to put damage into the Chrono. It's that and Leshrac.
And Nothing to Say just gave a great clinic of the mid Lina, so might have inspired a couple of people.
For sure. That being said, I think LGD is operating on another wavelength right now.
That's fair to say,
if anyone has the boldness to run Carry Axe twice.
What does TNC need? Because we got a Beastmaster just banned by Team Liquid. They took a long time to think about that. We know that the DK can be flexed to both Bok and to Armel. What do we want to see?
Yeah,
actually, I guess Armel's the TA, so I mean Gabby, of course.
10 seconds remaining.
TNC is the type of team to just run like DK carry, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you can't trust any of their picks to be any position.
I think Liquid's on the right track. I think that it's going to be looking for an offlaner hero.
I think the Beast ban is just because it's like the single worst matchup for Faceless Void. You can't do anything about the boar. It's so sad. And then you eventually roar him, he can't do anything.
And they ban out the Veno, so yeah.
It's not popular right now, but I would be down for a Bok Pango. I think Disarm against this team could be really irritating, especially as another way to protect the egg.
TNC previously did really try to punish the Void lane. That's where they originally picked the Viper. Okay, let's see. Axe. Okay, so they go for basically the only remaining damage over time that's not banned out in the Axe against the Void. Nice matchup for the mid game too. Like you call Axe or you call the Void at any point, and he's gonna die to the burst damage of the TA plus the Phoenix Sunray for sure.
And it provides some protection for the egg.
This could be a carry axe actually.
It could be. We saw it working. 100% win rate carry axe.
Is this Wyvern's a 5 though? I feel like Arctic Burn. Well, Arctic Burn owns both DK and Axe, I would think. But yeah, it could be.
So what do we think? Do we want to see Sumail on the Lina, or do we want to see something else picked up now for him? Or do we want to see him on the Mars and we get a last pick coming out for Kyiv with Slaughter still in the pool, one of the few games that it actually is still up? Go for Mirana, okay.
Huh.
That doesn't tell me much.
That does not. So Veil
Lina,
Lina, it will be Kyiv Mars, it will be Taiga Mirana, so the position for Mirana. On the side of TNC, we got the Gabby Axe. So we do have the carry axe, the offlane DK, mid TA of course with Boomy on the Enchantress.
Wow.
We got the carry axe again.
That's cool. It's cool that TNC's just immediately picking it up. They're like, alright, LGD's winning with this, like, let's go.
Southeast Asia and China have been scrimming against each other throughout the entirety of the DPC. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were already exposed to this. So I feel like the things that Liquid are answering are not what's important to answer. So they have Mirana versus Phoenix, so attack speed versus the egg.
Yeah.
Arrow for Enchantress's creeps, which is great. But I don't think you needed to answer the supports, you needed to answer the cores. And I think Liquid's still been off balance, so I actually predicted TNC for the series to begin with before we even saw the drafts. Even after seeing the drafts, I think I'm...
My hotel room, so I had to move. Like, it was just a bit too noisy. First, I thought it was someone else, you know, just smashing the keyboard.
You messaged me and you go,
Yeah.
he messaged me. I was on.
bo2 go arcane ここまで来たぜ I am better than I was 大変21サービス世界は
Connect to Chef Roxana Kitchen, Alaina Missionaria. Thank you so much. Yan, mega love shout out sa ating 370 million in the house. Yan, thank you so much for coming with us. Artian Proke, daming viewership. Yan, mega love shout out Team Universe. Thank you so much, guys. Yan guys, huwag niyong kalimutan.
Она всегда удивляла нас нестандартными драфтами, начиная, наверное, вот от еще от MVP Phoenix.
Fresh, the one to get the most.
on TNC.
And Lina isn't necessarily, that's not her strong suit. This small camp's the big thing about this patch for mid. All these mids that can abuse that small camp as early as possible. You see Sumail considering it, but electing to go back to lane. That's why I was almost surprised it took this long for Lina to be popular. She's so efficient when it comes to these early game, and her limitation in the past was mana only.
Oh, she top lane Gabby. Some good harassment here onto Quoifer. Call into a few spins, and Quoifer's got to be popping that cell probably here as Gabby showing that they're not afraid to play aggressive here. Gabby trying to see if he can cancel that cell, but Quoifer able to stay hidden in the tree. Tiger though, he's got to keep his distance, looking towards the courier. One leap forward, he will get it. He may just die for this though, Tiger. The call comes into play. Tiger's going to lose his life for that. Liquid, they do get the 2 couriers. They end up giving away another kill here to Gabby in the safe lane. Over in the river, Sumail sees that there's no further stun threat. Will manage to TP back towards the tower. All in all, some early kills here for the safe lane Axe.
No money for you.
Yeah, there's not many safe lane duos that I think would do well against Mars plus any ranged right clicker like the Mirana, but Enchantress is one of the strongest laning 5s, and she can also stay out of lane a lot, and Axe is perfectly sufficient on his own since he normally is an offlaner, and that means he's going to have a nice little level advantage, and overall, just going for that rushed ring of health on any carry ever just feels fantastic, and it's almost surprising just as much as the Lina mid that Axe has waited this long to be a carry with that new Axar build. People just wait for it to get nerfed, you know, before they're like, okay, that means it's the real deal, time to consider this and the hard carry role. And it just fits so much more this patch than last because the mid lane is so much more carry-esque itself. So you can afford to have more of a semi-carry one that doesn't have to bear the entire brunt of the carrier load, you know, 40 minutes into the game.
No, absolutely. I think, yeah, Axe in the position 1, as we were seeing back in the league from some teams, it has got huge potential. I mean, well, why do you think some teams just haven't really played with the idea of the Axe as the carry? Is it just players not necessarily being too comfortable playing it in that position, or are there other weaknesses that means teams aren't always going to look towards maybe getting a carry Axe in?
Yeah, I think it really is as simple as teams not having time to adjust fully to the meta, and there's just a lot of causal chains throughout the course of any developed meta, which in this case, as we've leaned more and more towards heroes like TA being super popular, inevitably you can afford these pseudo carries, as I mentioned, and now people have to start theory crafting. We saw Liquid even try carry Omni Knight yesterday. It didn't work out, but Axe, this is the type of hero where if it failed the first 2 games, maybe we'd never see it again, but it's already looking good, and thus, if other teams are doing it, why not steal it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're seeing, you know, already between the mids, as expected, already a few hundred gold lead here for Armel with how much he's able to clean up outside of the lane. You see those continued stacks being prepared for them. This mid TA is going to have a huge power spike at a very good time this game. Tiger trying to step up here. They brought the 2 supports in around the mid lane, but unless they really sort of catch one with an arrow, it's going to be a hard move to make. They will manage to land the arrow onto Armel. TP's coming in from TNC though. They're ready to bring in the backup as Tiger's going to end up dying for this effort. Sumail also in trouble as he's getting slowed down by the traps. Quoifer swung over though. Looking to catch Boomy in the arena. Quoifer able to come over in time, make sure the Liquid don't end up losing Sumail there. Perfectly safe underneath the tower.
Yeah, it's definitely not the target he wanted, but it's all in favor of TNC. I have to imagine that DK is quite a strong laner against Faceless Void, who's pretty much all physical damage early, because Phoenix has not spent very much time in the lane, and he's still out leveling and out networking the Void by a pretty large margin. And this is a response pick, so they clearly knew this matchup worked this way. And even though Mars is having a pretty decent start, Quoifer, and same with Sumail, they're just getting more. Gabby doing the same thing we saw from Ame last series, willingly leaving his lane in order to just gain the efficiency of the jungle, and they have such good stacking heroes. Enchantress can use creeps, Phoenix can use fire spirits to stack multiple camps per minute, and I'm pretty sure that's all this net worth lead is. There's no fancy kills going on. Yeah, they're up 3-1, but it's all just creeps.
Absolutely, yeah. Gabby, this is definitely on track to be one of the games that you are just going to see insane network built up at such a fast pace from Gabby, fully uninterrupted. This action, 5k net worth, 8 minutes in. Now Liquid's probably gonna pressure's gonna be on Liquid to make moves really. Maybe with this first chronosphere of Mickey's hit the 6. They've either got to do something around him or something around Samel, because as it is, TNC's just gonna continue to outfarm them pretty heavily here.
Yeah, they just have serious damage issues when you consider the heroes they're trying to kill. I mentioned it later on in the game. It seems that it's already mounting as TA with max refraction, DK super tanky with his passive, Axe already got the Vanguard.
Yeah, they're gonna catch on to Tims. Tims will get taken out. Quite for could be in trouble. Trap slow coming in, box TP'd over. Fire race will find time over be able to do so. They bring down a second here. Liquid quite able to push back up at the time. The tower hits will finish him off. As Liquid lose Quaker, but this time they'll get away with finding 2 kills before so taking down both the Phoenix and the DK there for their efforts.
Radiant's top tower.
What the hell? 9 minutes in.
I mean, he's just out. He's having the time of his life, Gabby.
Dire's courier.
I don't think he'll be farming any faster here. They will look to
Radiant's
punish him
top
with
tower is under attack.
He's pretty tanky though. But with the Vanguard, the 4 heroes having a go at Gabby here. They will probably get him. Takes a lot. They do kill him off, and they absolutely needed to. You were pointing out just how good of a start Gabby is having. Liquid will finally be able to slow him down a little bit, take him off the map for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I guess he just got strongman syndrome. Maybe it's the just feeling himself after having such a good early game. You're level 10 and he's thinking the same thing I am. He's like, holy crap, I'm level 10 and 9 minutes in, let's get him.
Yeah.
Darmel is pressuring bottom tower. They are going to need a lot of resources to get any little moves done on the map from Liquid, so anytime that they are going to 3 or 4 man gank a core like you see there, it is really important. I swear, expect that constantly throughout the game.
Why? I mean, what sort of determines which way you're going to go with the Void build? This game, the S&Y, whereas obviously the last time obviously the Void, the Maelstrom into the S&Y. When do you go for the Maelstrom? When do you skip the grind?
It's when you feel like you're gonna die if you go for that Maelstrom. I have to imagine he's thinking this DK Blink's coming out soon, the Axe is threat enough as is, and teamfights are just hard for him to execute because they have so much damage at this stage in the game that the only way you farm faster with an S&Y than you do with a Maelstrom is when you're expecting to die if you go Maelstrom. So that's the only reasoning I can come up with. That he certainly needed an S&Y this game against the call. It's the go-to item for all carries, no matter what role the Axe is in. But you would always hope to delay it. It does speak to the situation that Liquid finds themselves in, that he is going for this item build. It's not... It doesn't feel terrible, but you're definitely not excited about it if you're a carry player.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
See mid lane, TNC. Really put it on the pressure with the Elder Dragon form, but Liquid will respond. Quakefer TPing over, TNC immediately backing off. Quakefer maybe seeing if he can get a grab with the arena here, but doesn't want to go for these two. Maybe been able to catch Boomy, but obviously not one of the big targets that the Liquid kind of need to be killing here. As TNC able to quickly split back up, box in the jungle, Gabby's working on top. And even down bottom, Tim's able to pick up some actions and levels here. He's now hit the 6. Armel still, focusing through the Ancients. It's just a mithril hammer away from having the death. So they're still going to hit these very fast time is TNC Liquid. They really need to find some kills, and they're going to try now with this smoke.
Invisibility.
So I think they're going to get anything, are they?
He's not going to be able to catch either. Tries to get Gabby and Bok, or either or there. Doesn't end up getting any of them. They're able to simply step out to the side. And that's a smoke and an arena down the drain there from Liquid. Nothing to be found with it. And TNC will continue to happily farm away across the map.
Yeah, they have all this control and all these ultimates that they want to use on the side of Liquid. And you can just tell by that gank alone how awkward it is and how none of these targets look like the prime meat that you want, that you're hunting for. This is just crazy. You can feel it when you look at these ganks, when you look at the map. TNC's always spread out more. They're higher level across the board. Gabby, despite the death, is still getting almost 1 level per minute in this game. And he's going to have the same problem that Ame had last game, where he's going to get the Manta, and he's not going to have enough time in the game to get the shard yet. So he will be completing the blink most likely beforehand. And the chip vest, this is when you know Gaben's just on your side if you're playing Axe carry and you get chip vests. It's kind of like when you see all the mid laners get those fairy trinkets. It's the equivalent.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Gabby's just going to continuously be at full HP here, and the neutral creep's not standing a chance. As, yeah, you can really see how well it's going for Gabby when he's as close as he is to the farm barbell. Over the mid, that blow up to Bok, but it's not enough, even with the Laguna Blade. Bok's able to walk it off it. TNC not letting anybody go down. I mean, 4-4, the kill's relatively low this game, and of course in that sort of a matchup where one team's able to hit the creeps that much more, you know, you got to favour that side. 3k lead TNC. Armel's got the full deso done now. So he himself, he's going to be even more proactive in getting involved when Liquid do try and bring the action to him. And he's going to hit damn hard.
Yeah, I saw EG with the Wyvern Void. We might be seeing something bottom. Not going to make sure we miss this. Mickey? Okay. So I saw EG pull out the Wyvern Void safe lane duo, and it just screams damage problems for a really long time. And the minute that TNC saw this, their next 2 picks were just DK offlane, Axe carry. And I just really like the game plan that TNC's constructed. And moving forward, I don't think Liquid's out of it by any means, but it just seems so much more straightforward for TNC to execute their game plan, and Liquid's going to be the ones that really have to think outside the box, make some fancy maneuvers, and here we see them smoking again. You can tell they have a sense of urgency. They know they need to get something done. Sumail working on a BKB, but don't really have any damage items other than that Spirit Vessel coming out on Taiga, and that can be pretty crucial against the heal from the Enchantress as well as the Phoenix with these beefy strength cores.
Dire's structures are
see what they can grab. Do they want to make the jump on bot?
Dire's middle tower is under
himself
attack.
by the tower. TNC have got Boomy and Bok ready here for this fight. Gabby also relatively close. I mean, yeah, even with that time spent here to try and set up Liquid, they're still not able to confidently find a way to jump and start action onto TNC. Now TNC, they're ready to make a jump themselves. They get themselves straight over to Mickey. Mickey. That's the void gone there. Maybe he was dead either way, but Cold embracing him like that, Gabby's able to step up, keep it just change that. Liquid, they're still going to try and get the fight going, and they're jumping onto Gabby. Laguna Blade as well. By the sunlight, they move over to Sumail. Again, try to set Radiant's middle tower. They smash his life to pieces through the eyes. It's full dead on Liquid, as they just can't do anything here. TNC in their element. They've had the perfect start. And Gabby, he's ready to rock and roll. 4-1-2 after those kills. Pretty much has the Blink Dagger done. It's not looking great here for Liquid, Brian. They're having another rough game already.
That Spirit Vessel, and the problem is he has no charges. That could have been the difference between bringing Gabby down there, as he was sitting underneath 500 HP, taking damage and healing right through it the entire time. So, oh man, it's just not going to get easier. You have to get 1 kill. Even the supports. Now TA has an Aegis, and the problem here is that you have the Cold Embrace from Wyvern, but you have the pure damage from the Impetus from Enchantress. You have all the spells from Phoenix. You have the Axe Shard that's going to be coming out, which is also pure damage. You have the side blades if they're hitting another target, which is pure damage. Full zero on Wild Cold Embrace, Mickey.
Yeah, it's... I mean, it's feeling like in these fights that Zeni might have to hold back on using the Cold Embrace. I feel it's sort of doing them more harm than good. Just you know, just sort of disabling his teammates. The heal is just not strong enough
Radiant's top
at this stage. Of course, with just the 1 point in it, it's just not going to cut it in the chaos and as you said, the damage types that TNC is able to throw out in these team fights.
Among the hidden ones.
Yeah, I was thinking of like a play on words with the way this axe is getting to be played. I think of like Terror Axe, you know, instead of Terror Blade, you have Terror Axe. You're just sending illusions down lanes and clearing them, and it's just so efficient. Like the whole map control aspect of Dota is that they shouldn't be able to be in all 3 lanes, but because of how easy and quickly Axe as well as TA clear the lanes, and now that TA has the Aegis, and
Radiant's
Axe is one of the most survivable carries in the game right now at this stage in the game. It's just so easy for them to have all 3 lanes pushed in, and you can see they're just ignoring mid lane because no one on Liquid is comfortable enough to enter the river.
I mean, a real talk, Brian, you know, with this sort of carry axe coming into play, when do you think the players will catch on to getting the Octarine after the Manta, Brian? Let's go.
That is the build that I did in that one party queue game, and it did carry us when it was 60 plus minutes into the game. It's a nice 6-5. It's a nice 6-5. I don't think it's viable this early because the BKBs and the ACs, it's just too much value because you get so much tankiness and the attack speed aura for yourself and your illusions. It's just so much free damage because you usually only factor in the physical damage, but the pure damage from spins, it's just like Spectre. Pure damage is insane as the game goes on, and you have a better version of Desolate because it doesn't matter if there's anybody near them. Actually, you welcome their teammates are near them.
He's jumped into a Dragon Tail! There, I've dropped the curse onto Armel, they'll keep time to make it a step out of the side. What is in the arena? Gets the spear down to Bok. He's not down to secure Bok. Bok's gonna be more than fine. Liquid City, they're just gonna back away. As again, Cold Embrace used it onto Quaitfer, but Quaitfer looking still pretty dead. There's no escape for the Mars. Quaitfer goes down, the rest of Liquid desperately running out of here, as the rest will make it away. And again, just TNC having the smoothest of times here, 9-5 at 19 minutes in. Not a lot of kills, but a whole lot of money here. 10k lead for TNC at this early point of the game.
Radiant's middle tower
is and this is not metaphorical, this is not philosophical. They have literally no damage on the side of Liquid, and this is... okay, go, Castle, you're supposed to go.
He's just dead! He's ready to dive into the hole! And the catch up is in, and the crowd comes out. They've got the tower as well, hill to Gabby. Kill it, Hugs down. They will manage to punish Gabby. What more can they get out of this? They put the arrow in. Bok.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's going to be able to spear Bok back. Bok still alive, finally goes down for Crash here as Liquid will take him down. See if Liquid can chase any more here. Okay. His eyes on movement. Time dilation, but the Supernova's coming out. See if we can turn. Quaitfer's managed to catch the two of them in the arena. The Supernova off the back momentarily, but still Liquid's able to push on takedown Boomy. Look towards Armel. Armel, he'll fall for the first time. See if they can take him out again as they'll set up around the Aegis. The buyback from Boomy coming into play as they want to try and hold on that TA. The one lone tree standing enough for Quaitfer to pin Armel in his place. And they're going for everything here. They need to, Liquid. They've got to make as much as they can happen with this fortune that's sort of been handed to them there. Liquid do manage to kick back here off the back of Gabby, going for a bit of a on-ground dive on the axe.
That was the perfect chrono placement as Sumail was right on the outside. I don't even have time to talk here as we're seeing even more action.
Quaitfer's still going. He's able to get in and take down Tim's TNC. They should be able to chase and punish him for this. They're about over upon him. There's no help coming in for Quaitfer, so Gabby and Bok and Boomy will manage to get this Mars out of the game.
That space, sideline getting pushed out, Mickey going back for the Maelstrom makes sense. It's just order of items. If he had had a Maelstrom for that fight, he wouldn't have survived the initials jump by TNC. And he chronoed where the Lina and the tier 3 tower were right outside, and that was what it required to bring down Gabby on the axe. And hey, that might be the beginning of the comeback for Liquid. By no means is their team incapable of making plays. Just that bonus damage from the tower, and now with a couple Spirit Vessel charges on Taiga, that first kill was so important to helping them bring down Bok as well, and now they will have the damage as long as the cores of TNC do not have BKB available. One charge left.
No, for sure. I mean, as much as I like to see a good dive, I think for TNC's sake, Gabby's going to have to try and restrain himself a little bit more next time round. Those moves indeed giving a bit of a chance here for Liquid. That 10k lead that TNC had, nearly getting half there off the back of that last team
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Once they start building into damage items, I assume Sumail will go for the MKB build. Yes, he has it queued up. And he's also got the boots of travel, so that should help them get outside the base if TNC had flex to try to take over the triangle and control the Roche area, which that MKB, super value against all 3 cores, especially the DK and the Axe, who are high armor targets, will get chunked through by that magic damage. Boots of travel across the board, though. I like this by Gabby. Usually, if you think the opponent's only way back out on the map is boots of travel, you want one core with kill threat to also have boots of travel of their own to make sure you shut that down.
Not for sure, yeah, and Gabby, an excellent one to do it, and that catch potential on top. Liquid setting up behind Mickey there, maybe preparing for a move to be made onto the Void, but it isn't coming here from TNC. TNC keeping themselves close together as a unit around the mid lane. Armel, a few hundred gold off having the completed BKB as TA. Still a bit of time for Gabby until he can get his. Armel, once he's got the BKB, he'll have much less of a problem getting in on these squishy heroes of Liquid uninterrupted if those ultimates are down.
Radiant are scanning.
I wonder if there's ever going to be a Shiva's Guard coming out from Liquid. I guess it would probably be Sumail after the MKB. I'm just thinking of heal reduction. They don't have a Scotty builder per se. After the Maelstrom, Mickey could consider it, but it looks like he's worried about his own life before he's worried about taking the opponents as he queues up the Satanic. I don't blame him. We're seeing what's happening in the fights. He's also getting called. He's not generally getting stunned. So that means the Satanic goes up in value.
Oh, for sure, yeah. If Mickey can play to the survivability elements of the hero, he's going to have a chance of sort of pushing on and being that front liner for Sumail to sit back.
Time is money.
Multiple rounds and his abilities off it in the team fights. Well, we'll see what TNC's move's going to be next, as they're now back to building up that lead again. When sort of the calm returns in between these two sides, TNC still able to clean up the map much more efficiently than Liquid can right now.
I never thought I'd see the day where both supports on the same team have a holy lock it on. Phoenix and the Enchantress.
That's true, that item, it used to be a bit of a meme, but indeed no longer. No longer at all, especially on these two heroes that do have those strong healing based spells to really buff up.
Yeah, the fact that you can give the charges to someone else just makes it that much more insane. Because the guy that you don't want to focus these heal supports in the back because they're also so beefy themselves. So your goal would be to put it all on one guy, but then they're also able to put all their heals on one guy.
Yeah, and especially when the heroes that these you're backing up as Tims and Boomy are, as beefy as they are, you're always going to get the chance to get those clutch saves off onto Bok and Gabby. Already with a lot of inbuilt sustain themselves. These are not easy heroes at all for Liquid to kill, as we have seen so far this game. The struggles have been real for Liquid, only really getting a chance to capitalize on the over-aggression of TNC. Outside of that, Liquid not being able to make too many moves themselves.
Yeah, Centaur alone is a huge threat because it just means the opponent sees you. And Liquid has that one ward to work with and their own triangle, and also the one ward near mid-tier 2 of Dire. But here we see Monaco ulti. This is the information game I was talking about. Hopefully Liquid can use it to their advantage right now, as they are down by 10k. Roche going to be spawning quite soon.
Let's see if Liquid can get them by surprise. Boomy, gonna head up. Sentry's gonna be good. Boomy's gonna see everything. He'll die for this. As Liquid just quickly, they just take the Enchantress's life. They know that he would be giving the info for the rest of the team, so just take what they were given. Does mean, of course, that for TNC overall, they'll be rather happy with that one. Only losing an Enchantress to this move that Liquid were...
Re-smoke.
You're welcome! Execution style!
He's been pretty deep. He's going to get the chance to easily pop that BKB, though. Liquid, what do they do now? They've sort of revealed themselves on a second attempt onto Bok. They're still hanging around the area. Liquid, they've got to start backing off. Even against just the 4 of TNC, it's very hard for Liquid to make moves.
Super late Roche spawn, and Liquid's like, come on, give us a break here. 20 seconds on the Enchantress. That is the target that TNC purposely offered up, as Liquid's quite familiar with the role of the Enchantress on the map at this stage in the game, as you use your creep as well as your own body to face check wherever you think the opponent may be coming from.
Bottom tower
and
is under attack.
You can see that Liquid knows exactly how impactful that Enchantress kill was, where they needed to smoke again to feel like they got enough out of it. As now it's TNC's turn, Enchantress is respawning, will most likely be able to connect to the fight. Probably gonna try to de-ward around the area that he did get ganked. Pretty smart of him to help set up for the Roche. The thing about Liquid's lineup is they don't take Roche particularly fast, so TNC is now sitting up on bottom, assuming that someone on Liquid is going to feel pressured to go defend and push out the bottom
Radiant's
lane. Most
middle tower
likely
is
would be
under attack.
Sumail because he's the one with boots of travel that would be able to rejoin the Roche area. And this Axe, these Axe illusions, it is
Radiant's
so
top tower is
valuable.
under
You
attack.
can't put a gold value on heroes that can clear waves. All 3 waves, like Naga and Terrorblade, are generally the only heroes that can do it
Radiant's
before this
bottom
Axe
tower
carry
is under
without
attack.
having to put themselves at risk at all.
I think one of the great things as well about
Radiant's
the Axe carries,
middle
let's
tower
be
is
honest,
under
Brian,
attack.
would you rather be playing Axe carry, Naga or Terrorblade? Now, Axe for the fun factor, for the player, Axe has got to be at the top of the list.
Absolutely. No, I purposely took this patch as an excuse to finally get to play some Axe carry in those party queue games, and I still thought it was a
Radiant's
meme even
bottom
though it
tower
worked,
is under
but
attack.
apparently it is not.
It's looking very good here. That's a 19k net worth, some insane farm. Oh, there is Sumail. He steps up to clear a wave, they're ready away, and they get the jump on straight away.
Radiant struggles are
That's
fortified.
what they're waiting for. They were so patient. Like, Liquid sees 2 heroes
Radiant's
top, and
bottom
TNC
tower
was still
is under
patiently waiting
attack.
for them.
Not Boomy. Oh, catch a TP's are coming in. Boomy, he's still alive. The Mickey will drop the chrono. He's caught Armel, but Armel already got the beat. Have you ever got a refresh right? Literally no damage, Brian. Literally no damage done throughout the duration of that chrono. Armel deflects.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He's in with the call. Sumail on speed dial.
Come on, Spikes.
Sumail just down for 90. He's not back for that as well. Mickey's dead. Sumail's out down for 90 seconds. He's not making it out either. Gabby's still got credit to play with as he makes another. Takes out. But 4 of them here. It's 15k lead now for TNC. After a fight like that, Liquid's going to be sort of licking their wounds, and I don't think they could do much more than that, Brian.
Yeah, this game was consistently one fight away from TNC just breaking open the map once again, as they kind of had to recover what they lost diving the tier 3 towers, and you can just tell when TNC sees a target like this bomb, you go on them, they die. When Liquid sees a target, maybe you have 4 heroes and you're not sure if they're gonna die, and that just never. It's almost impossible at this level of play when one team's executing on that much easier of a minimum threshold to kill somebody comparatively.
And we go straight up to the base. Still 30 seconds, no Sumail.
Nature
Mickey will be back
attend
up,
us.
but of course no chrono. And even when that's there,
Radiant's
we've seen
middle tower is under
not a
attack.
whole lot to be done with it whatsoever. From how far behind Liquid are is
Radiant's
TNC.
bottom
Let's bottom it again.
Radiant's
Another kill. Insane is out. I mean, they're going to have to probably call it soon, otherwise. Now Gabby's still, they're going to shoot through the roof.
Radiant's middle tower is under
What
attack.
are they doing, Gabby?
That's going to be called
Radiant's
next.
middle tower has fallen.
I think they're going to fight back here, but they've got to watch out for this action. Wants to be giving to get the arrow. Armel, of course, still has that Aegis. He'll be able to follow up the ones, but he's ready for round 2. Gabby jumping into Sumail.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That just stops. Damage to Gabby. Armel getting fully focused in, but really get the big in it.
Will not stop us back.
He's taking away. Armel, he's going to live. He's getting healed on by Boomy. They can't kill TNC. Coming in with the double buybacks here, Liquid. But TNC, they're continuing to roll. It's a call. Trying out quite far out of action. They've got to call it. They really have. And there it goes. GG. As
Radiant's middle
25 to
tower
11,
has
32
fallen.
minutes,
Radiant's middle tower
33k
is under
net
attack.
worth lead. My good.
TNC Predator.
And
Victory.
unfortunately for Liquid, Brian, I guess this is just kind of what we've come to expect to see from them here at this major.
Okay, so one thing that I realized as this meta was adapting, I was looking at the games. I was thinking, okay, this is so different from what I've seen like Quincy Crew do and these like playoff teams. Like this is very different from what I saw the playoffs teams do in the DPC. And so I thought for a while, okay, maybe this meta that we're seeing evolve. This is just wild card. This is just group stage. Wrong. I don't think it's like that. I think legitimately this picking two side lane tanky cores and then like a farming mid, I think that is the meta. I think if you tried to play some Void Spirit against this, and I think if you tried to play fast against this, I think you would lose. Because the problem is, if you have an Axe and a DK in a side lane, these heroes are too tanky to run around and chase and try to kill. And so you have this Axe farming in front of your face, and it's like, let's try to kill him. We saw them try to kill the Axe. It took 4 heroes, they killed him, and the gold lead went up.
Yeah.
They got gold for Axe dying. So we can see what happens when they try to play fast. You've got the Holy Lockets too that are coming in, making these tanky frontline heroes even more tanky. You've got these supports that are like the Phoenix that are able to take lanes when Axe goes and take Ancient stacks. I legitimately think what Liquid did wrong, and I think everybody backstage was agreeing, is that they didn't have a hero that could farm Ancients in stacks. They legitimately, I know it's ironic saying this with Liquid, they needed to stack.
Yeah.
They actually needed to stack more, but in order to stack, you have to adapt to this meta of having these tanky, frontlining, carry, off-laning, off-lanes and carry. It's like weird, like a DK and Axe they're kind of the same hero. But I'm mind-blown by how this meta has changed over the period of the group stages and the wild cards. I don't think this is just that. I think the playoffs are going to look exactly the same. This looks too good.
Okay, so that covers the cores. How do you feel about the supports? We're seeing more heal and save-oriented supports in this game. There was a lot of them. There was a Wyvern, a Phoenix, and an Enchantress. What's going to happen to these Lions and Shamans and more damage-dealing, crowd control, utility-oriented supports? Do they still have their place in this meta that you're conceiving, or not so much?
I think they have less of a place. I think having at least one support that can take a lane is really important. Because I think you're always going to draft some core that is able to take jungle, some core that's able to take
no damage, by the way.
Damage.
Yeah, it's
whenever this gig happened, Jenkins, you were like, oh, they can't kill. No, Fog was backstage like, oh, it's a Dragon Knight, they can't kill him. And it was actually Enchantress. We just couldn't see it in the distance, but they all looked tanky. They all looked unkillable. And all these initiations that Liquid were attempting, it feels like Liquid were just ahead of their time, because the concept of stacking Ancients was Liquid through and through for all of 2020 and beginning of 2021. Donating the lane to your 4 position was something that was blowing people's minds in Season 1 of the DPC. Taiga would take over mid, and Koifu would leave, and then Taiga would get like a massive level advantage on Enchantresses, especially in Season 2. So I think Liquid were just a little bit ahead of meta.
I don't think that this is something... I was talking to Aoi about this the other night, actually, because we were both trying to figure out like why Nyx Assassin is so good. And this is not something that pros sit down with a pen and paper and theory craft and figure out, right? This is something that slowly... It slowly...
It develops, it evolves.
It evolves, yeah, right. Like you pick Nyx and it's like, oh, against these heroes it feels good. Okay, let's put Nyx higher up in our draft priority.
Keyword there, feels good.
I think all of this stacking stuff works partly because of these Holy Lockets in Eon Discs and tanky cores. I think all of these things play into each other. Like the fact that you have this tanky DK with a Phoenix that's behind that can save the DK. It's like you can't go on the DK or the Axe that's farming stacks because it's like a Wraith King with ulti. Yeah. How many times have we seen a Wraith King die at Ancients, and then the team TPs in, and then everybody just kills the people who come for the gank? It's the exact same thing with these tanky Axes and these tanky DKs. By the time you kill them, sure, maybe they die, but you're going to lose net worth. You're going to lose the fight because you've committed so much, and then the Holy Lockets play into that. Eon Discs, to me, this patch seems to be about disengage. Being able, and that's why Eon Disc is in every single game. Nigma, picking up 4 heroes. Yeah. Holy Locket in every single game. DK Axe every single game. And that makes sense. Everybody's team fighting. So disengaging from team fights and taking better fights makes a lot of sense to me.
So we're saying maybe Team Liquid was ahead of their time a while ago. I think TNC, one of the most impressive things is how they've evolved over these last 3 days.
So quick, yeah.
So quick. I feel like Team Liquid right now is like a solid step behind the meta, behind everybody else figuring things out. Is that a fair thing to say? A fair assessment to make after a game like this?
I think so. I mean, maybe like 2 steps behind. And I think it's hard to say what it is. Once again, it goes back to this like feel thing. Maybe it's some psychological element there. Maybe Boxy was more the guy that was open to these new crazy strategies. Maybe they're feeling a little tense. It's hard to say what exactly it is. But TNC, once again, like the fact that they're so free flowing means that they can play this stuff in games and get a feel for it. And then it's like that. I mean, that game looked just god tier from them.
Yes. Extra point of interest for people rooting for Team Liquid. Pretty convincing for TNC, guys. I feel like you should be a little worried there for you guys.
And things don't get easier because they'll go up against Spirit after this.
Yes.
And then EG tomorrow.
EG tomorrow.
So
can't lose any more games.
That is terrifying.
If there was ever a backs against the rope, that's when the real team goes. This is it. This is it. They gotta step it up. They gotta try something to turn the tides, but TNC, I don't think they're gonna make it easy for them because they look on fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I came into this tournament completely NA biased. I was saying in my head, I was like, okay, Jenkins, don't be NA biased. You don't want to be the guy that appears to be NA biased. You know, because it's like all these years of Europeans coming into stream chat saying your MMR is worse than mine, your pub suck, all that stuff. I was like, oh yeah, you know, the last major made me realize all of the regions are very equal, but then I'm still NA biased, of course, because I want to see my boys win. I love this TNC team. I love this LGD team. I think I'm actually just China and SEA biased now. Legitimately.
Good Dota bias, and they play the best.
They've 100% won me over, and I'm sure they've won over so many other fans because I was just disgustingly biased coming into this, and anybody else who was probably switched as well.
Was there anything that gave you pause after the Singapore major where you were like, okay, you won one major. I'm not quite convinced yet, though. Your region still has a little bit more to prove. I think that two podium finishes because they got first and third in China. But I guess your NA also got second, so then you're like,
Yeah, it's like, China pretty good, NA pretty good. We're both about at the same level. Either of us could have taken that, but now it's like, well, I want LGD to win. I mean, this.
Seen that one coming.
TNC Predators turn to ban. TNC Predators turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to pick.
Clockwork!
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. TNC Predators turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to pick.
The sack!
So quickly and run through the trees and be so annoying. I thought that was going to come into the meta. So maybe that's part of it, is that the split pushing on these heroes feels super viable. We see it a lot on the track. They just run out side lanes and feed. And it
Sound like you want some Quincy Crew hoodwink to show up.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You want trees, you want split push.
Let's do it.
I feel like Liquid are just picking the Snapfire as a Phoenix answer. They want to shred down the egg, because otherwise, I mean, it's a comfort hero for them, but I don't really know what else the hero is supposed to be doing here.
Speaking of comfort, they look pretty comfortable in their chairs. Secret lab chairs. Good chairs.
Oh yeah, they lounging.
They lounging.
What does it say?
Secret lounging chair.
TNC's Ian?
It's a Titan.
His name is
Oh,
Ian.
Titan.
No, it's like
that's the manager.
there's
Ian.
like different chairs. One of them is the Titan. I think the Titan is like the broadest chair.
I met him at the. I had a Diet Pepsi and he knocked it out of my hand.
Oh, Ian.
Wow.
So crazy.
Ian is such a crazy guy. I mean, you know, what can you do?
Alright, Liquid, who do you want to answer?
It takes a long time here. I kind of feel like maybe they wanted that on the track and it got stolen from them. It's one of Mickey's comforts. But I guess the question is, do you want to pick Mickey's hero here, or are you going for either Tigers or Insanius? They played Snap on both position 4 and 5. We had the Taiga hero Morana last pick last game.
Could
Didn't
go
work out.
with Faceless Void again. It would kind of justify the Snapfire a little bit more for me.
I still, even with Snap, I think with Faceless Void, you kind of lack damage.
Yup.
Maybe, am I crazy for saying that with the Snapfire? I don't think the Snap Ult is enough anymore. It just feels like with Phoenix in every game...
You need burst.
Yeah, you really need a lot to deal with that. And the Holy Lockets, the spell lifesteal items now.
Lone Druid!
And I go for the Lone Druid. Against Phoenix. Against Phoenix, who can shred the bear.
It's okay.
With Sun.
It's okay, Jenkins. Please tell me it's gonna be okay.
I'm so sorry, Tsunami.
Wow, okay.
Sorry.
10
What's
seconds.
TNC
What's
on your block?
Turn to ban.
Speak to me with these paws. Do some.
You're lucky there's no like close-up camera shot. The look of disappointment in your face is palpable.
It's just, I just really want them to pick something relatively normal and good. We've not seen Lone Druid work this entire major. Actually, did Matu win his game with Lone Druid? No, right?
5 seconds.
I don't know. That's
it's a wild card. They got knockout team, so
who cares?
Let me tell you, is China playing Lone Druid? Is Southeast Asia playing Lone Druid?
Exactly. I think there's like that's your answer, right? I know Koikfa and Matu are like top tier Lone Druid players.
For sure.
And a lot of people would say in the world, but you can now kind of say in Europe, and it's like, why? There must be, like, do they feel like there's something inherently really good for a Lone Druid to deal with on the side of TNC? Like, is there something that it, like, hard counters?
No, there's, okay, either this is just complete comfort, or you're picking this to actually combo with something else. They could go with maybe...
What's the combo with?
Puck, break the coil.
Yeah, where does TA go then?
Safe lane.
Yeah, well, you could. Mickey has played Puck.
Yeah?
Mickey plays a lot of Pucks.
That's true.
That could be it, and I feel like when you do put Koikfa on the Lone Druid, you are gonna treat it a little bit more as a core, so you want to have like Mickey on a more active hero that doesn't maybe need as much space.
Sure.
Later on, I'm trying to, you know, some positive things in here for the Lone Druid.
Yeah, of course.
But I think TNC is.
Wait, but then the question is, where does Mars go? I feel like you have all three of your cards.
You are correct.
Yeah, you are correct.
That is definitely a hero we ignore. No. We're just so used to seeing it's like blank to us.
Yeah.
Mars is just in every single game.
They need an Insania hero?
Yeah, unless they're picking Mars support.
Quincy Crew did run Mars 5 for quite a few games in NA, but...
Hey, they may be picking it.
5 seconds remaining.
Wyvern.
I mean, we got the AA still banned, no surprise. Shadow Demon also banned. TNC is definitely on the money there, thinking that it's going to be an Insania or Taiga Hero last, because we have seen Insania play Snapfire as well.
Yes, in fact, I think he's been playing more this major than Taiga has.
So is there any kind of... Willow is still on?
Lion.
Lion. Wow.
We're scrambling.
We saw Lion very successful at the start of the group stages, but day 1.
You know,
we're now on day 3. Okay.
Times have changed. We are older and wiser now.
Yeah.
It feels like forever ago, but it is burst. It is burst against a bunch of healing and tanky heroes, so maybe that's the solution.
Yeah, because the Laguna Blade last game worked out so great.
Yes, of course it did. My gut says for TNC they're gonna pick some other semi-carry. It seems like it's such a strong meta to have, once again, these holy lockets and impossible to kill heroes, and everybody kind of scales to be decent as we see the draft in all its glory.
So do you want a Bach hero? Where do you want this axe?
Yeah, that is the only issue, is that
I want Gabby Axe.
I do want Gabby Axe.
Okay.
And I want Armel Lesh.
Yeah.
I could see Bach going Lesh and getting the sort of Greaves style of build.
He can play a Mag. Or Viper's.
Yeah, Mag. Mag's cool. Viper's banned.
Legion, so cool. Not very popular.
You know what? In game 2 that they played against EG, he played Night Stalker. Loved that. It didn't win, but it looked very good.
Good Night Stalker game.
Choose your
There's a back, another techie boy.
Well, very good against the Lone Druid Bear. It's you can't the bristle stacks other than BK. Then you have a BKB on the bear if you go for that item.
Mickey Mars.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the Gabby Axe again. Yeah, I don't think there's anything surprising coming out. I think Tsunami I know he really likes TNC, but at the moment he is basically.
I don't want TNC to be eliminated already. I want the tie breaks. I want the drama. I want it saved for the last day. But Liquid are just in shambles, man.
It happens. It happens to the best of us, you know. And they're up against a Goliath team.
They are.
What an improvement from TNC. These guys are looking scary.
They really do. Okay, so we all like TNC's draft a little bit more. For Team Liquid, what needs to happen for them to have a good game? Like, is there anyone in particular? Obviously, Kyiv long Druid. He's gonna need some time. Who's gonna buy that time? Who has to pop off?
Everybody.
Mickey on the Mars, you know, you can run this hero around with the supports, get some action going, for sure. If Sumail has a good game, which, you know, one of the best laners in the world. Of course, he is Carmel.
Yeah, you're right, Jenkins. My golly, they're gonna do. I'm game to you for the love of God, please. Please!
Well, dude, we're heading over to our commentary duo, BSJ and ODPixel. What do you guys think?
Thank you, Sheever. If there's anyone that's familiar with Nimbus over, that's Jenkins for you, and I can feel Neil's pain. I'm excited for Game 2 as we get to see the Lone Druid played more as a carry for Quavo, not so much as the offlane as Mickey takes over the Mars. They want to just be standing their ground hitting people, and most heroes in the game can't tank through that amount of damage without having to retreat, and that's when they really get the best of you. But Bristleback, he is not going to be turning his back to these heroes. He's going to be running straight at him. The one fortunate thing they have is the way that Mars Spear works is when you do spear someone to a target, it turns him around. So they can use that to manipulate what direction he is facing and potentially burst him despite the tanky passive. I'm curious, it's a similar game plan for TNC, right? 3 very survivable cores. A little bit different this game in the sense that the survivable cores are meant to kill you before you kill them because you're dealing with a Leshrac as well as the Bristleback. With the Phoenix again behind, but at least they only have 1 heal support this time.
That's true. Yeah, no Boomy on the edge this time. Boomy on something a little more aggressive in your face this time round. The clockwork coming out for him. And overall, you know, last game we really did see, you know, Gabby ended the game. I think it was like what 12, 2 and 10 or something on this carry axe. This time round, you know, Liquid, they see it first. What do you think they've done this game that's going to, in their minds, make sure that Gabby doesn't have as good of a game as he did last time?
If they bring 3 or 4 heroes, somebody on TNC will die. They have a lot more damage. We're looking at the support duo from Team Liquid. We're comparing a Wyvern Mirana to that of a Lion plus Snapfire. When these ultimates are online, the Finger plus the Mortimer's Kisses, they will be going down. So I don't expect to see nearly as much hesitation from Liquid when they do see the desired target, because if the spells go off, they're going to be able to make it happen.
You're welcome.
The lane setups, of course, bottom Gabby. So backed up by Boomy against this Mickey and Insania duo. Obviously, Liquid as a team, they do flex a lot of the times between the core positions, but we'll see if this works out. You know, clearly something they're trying whilst they're a bit on their sort of last hopes here at the major. And with the setups, you know, Mickey, do you expect him to have a pretty good time? Is he going to be able to do something a bit more this time around when he's playing the Mars? Do you think this can?
Yeah, there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. Lone Druid and TA both like to farm for the first 15 minutes or so, and if he's able to rotate to them, then he'll get a bit of assistance from his cores. But there's just you have to wait for the level 6s from the supports, but the problem with Mars is if you fall behind even slightly, we saw it with Ice last series, you'll end up level 8 at 17 minutes into the game, and you can't... Mars, yes, he's an offlaner that's meant to be more teamfight utility, but he needs items to do his job, so they have quite a greedy lineup, and I'm not as much concerned about Mickey being able to get these plays done, but managing to get the farm that he needs to be effective past that early game.
For sure, we'll see how well he's able to transition out of the laning stage. Looking at the other lane so far, mid, Armel 11 for 3 against the 13 for 1. Very close between these two. We'll see if this time around, you know, somehow, see if he's able to achieve as much as Armel did last game when Armel was playing the TA. You know, we saw Armel get insane amounts of farm with preparation at the jungle. Might be in trouble in the battle. Is going to tick him down pretty low. He should be fine there with the Tango regen, and indeed will just live, but some heavy pressure here already being applied by Gabby and Boomy.
Hands off!
That's up on the top half. I mean, this sort of the lane on the other side. Is this a lane where Quakefor can farm pretty freely? I mean, at what point is it very early that the Bristol is able to pose a threat to the bear?
I don't think it's super early. I think it's going to be more so if he gets that Ags online and his ability to... He removes the cast time, and you can just continuously chase after with the sticky... with the nasal goo. I don't think this lane is particularly bad for Lone Druid. The only issue I have is that usually what you use to beat Bristle in lane is the fact that he's spamming quills, which means you get stick charges, which means you can often use more mana to harass him, but Lone Druid makes no use of mana in the lane phase when it comes to trades, and because of that, we're seeing a lot of efficiency by Thames once again, dipping out of lane as often as possible to give Bach this solo experience, and he's already got the XP lead again. Lone Druid, a very low base armor hero, despite becoming super tanky later on. 0 base armor level 1, and you can see those quills adding up and hurting a lot.
Not for sure, lots of damage being done already. Well, see on the bottom half, I think Boomy just checking out the state of this area. As you can see, nothing being stacked up quite yet by Liquid within their triangle.
Give me more!
So there's going to be the difference really between the mid and bottom lane. Gabby get caught by a nice spear here from Mickey. Gets Gabby under the tower, but Gabby manages to get the call off. He's going to be able to step away. He's just got the Ring of Alpha and a few stick charges safe to secure himself safe. And he's actually top lane with time. He's going to get both of them. Oh, alrighty. Tim's there, burning them up.
Dire's top
as they
tower
can't
is
go
under
and kill
attack.
Bog. That's a catastrophe for the top lane of Liquid.
It's absolutely brutal, and they're going to make a really cool play where Bach has handed his bottle off to the Phoenix, who's going to walk all the way back to base, fill it up, and TB back in. So they're going to be able to run it right back. The only issue Bristleback tends to have in the early game is the regen. That's why we're seeing him a lot as a mid laner with all the runes changes. But this is effectively the same thing. You're going to have a bottle refill, and also the charges that are coming out of base. As Gabby is going to take a little bit of damage bottom, but because Axe has such ridiculous base HP regen, that Ring of Health puts him at 14 HP regen, and I do feel like most safe laners this patch do have a lot of sustain issues in the early game, and I think that's another reason why Axe is so prevalent just immediately. We've only started seeing it today, but it's something been picked 4 times and hasn't lost yet.
I think we might start to see a bit more if some other teams feel confident in running it. As so far, so good here with the showings we've had. We'll see now over Liquid's side. Insania starting to get the jungle prepared. Force him out as he needs to do so. Smel's got to hit some good timings this game. Armel is trying to scout him out, disrupt some of the farm here. Will manage to take a few of the creeps as well by the looks of it. Is he quite to get the large ones? He is. Tiger, he's come across, but the cookie's going to get nasty dodge by Armel. He's going to be able to take down Tiger. Will lose his life, but Samal does as well. He's just burning him down. He's going to run down Insania a little bit. Insania should be okay. Still has an excellent stun to offer up Tim's. No spells to throw out. But, I mean, I think we're going to see quite a fast level 6 here on Tim's this game, Brian, with these sort of kills that he's just cleaning up the XP in.
Yeah, and you're seeing what the one track offers that the Lina doesn't. You'll never see the Lina on the TA side of the map advantage as far as Bach, taking an immense amount of physical damage between the little Shredder and the Blightstone. Oh, the root. I don't think he would have gone down.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
You good.
I mean, they'll get him. Quite fair. He'll have a bit of a smile on his face there. Gets the solo XP, I guess. But Bok, those quills, he was taking the damage. So was Tiger and quite for there. The quill spray stacking up, and Tiger losing his life there in their attempt to kill Bok.
Yeah, they both have 3 armor and 4 armor respectively, and the Armel, they have to take these stacks super early on the side of Liquid because he's already invading one side, taking stacks of his own, and then you've got a Vanguard Axe. Really good that Sumail's already moved his way towards the triangle, because oftentimes you have maybe 10 to 11 minutes to safely take some stacks, but the ability for TNC to invade is ridiculous. And the issue I have this game is that whatever cores walk in lane, TA doesn't want to directly contest the Lesh. Nobody on the side of Liquid wants to directly contest the bristleback, and then Ash is just going to be doing his own thing on the map, which means that most lane pressure will be in favor of TNC. And then you ask yourself, what are they going to do with that lane pressure? Well, they have a Lesh rack. As you see, they're going to shred these tier 1 towers and continue to walk from tower to tower. Liquid's going to have to put up a fight, but TA Lone Druid, they don't want to play this way. They want to be hitting creeps themselves, wait to get their early items up. These are item-dependent heroes in terms of their damage output, as opposed to the level-dependent heroes, something Kyle tends to talk about, one of the few things that I do closely listen.
And then this game, the thing is, when you start to see TNC move this quick, do you feel like, is this TA and Lone Druid duo core, is that maybe a little too much on the greedy side for Liquid when they're playing against a team like TNC?
Is under attack.
Yeah, you can tell the greed. I think this is what Bristleback punishes, because the pressure he puts out is, he doesn't have to be able to kill you. He can just walk at you, and just with the Vanguard, no boots. It's going to be slow. He's going to be moseying his way there. But eventually, those lanes are going to get pushed in, and it's just a matter of time. It's like a ticking time bomb where you don't know when his team's going to make the move, but they get to pick and choose their battles unless you can bring this Bristle down, and that's just not the case. I talked about them having a lot more damage this game on the side of Liquid, but you need those ultimates from the supports. Lion and Snapfire aren't going to have those yet. And you can see the way that TNC's playing. Phoenix playing top, Axe jungling, Bristle showing mid. They're farming all 3 lanes and jungles of the map, and that's just... It's not that bad on the net worth, it looks like, but that's all on the TA of Sumail, which they have the tools to deal with. So if he goes down once, it could be a disaster for Liquid.
Boomy trying to make the rounds, but yeah, once again, as we saw in game 1, you know, Boomy, if he's the one dying, TNC as a whole will be pretty happy. Space being created here for sure, and as TNC's cores continue to go to work.
If they can turn maybe one crucial kill into a Roshan for the side of Liquid, that might be the ticket to give them the map momentum, because now suddenly TA's got that effect of being able to walk a lane survivably. Massive Ancient stack. One thing to mention about Axe carry is he can clear these. Most carries, other than maybe Sven, cannot do it this early on into the game. And Axe. So let's just check out his net worth, right? 4,500 minutes in. We're going to see that shoot right up. That's beautiful. As a carry player, I know you can relate.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh yeah, this is some lovely stuff.
Radiant structures are
this is the stuff he
fortified.
dreams of it.
He's thinking about all the gold he'd be getting from this stack.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Bok's gonna be looking over with a tear in his eye. That could have been mine. And Gabby taking the priority, of course, this game as the carry. And there it is, stack cleaned up and a healthy burst of cash to his net worth there.
That was 900 gold. 11 minutes in. That's absurd.
No,
and Tim's is just getting so much.
I mean, yeah, the levels on this Phoenix, this is going to be the problem for Liquid when they do try and go for this team fight. The arena and the kisses, Tim's presence is going to be so overwhelming. He gets in with a good egg, and they have to make sure the Tiger is ready with a little shredder, otherwise this egg's going to cause some issues for Liquid in the team fights. And with this Ancient stack being cleaned up, and TNC able to just continue to push up the lanes that little bit safer than that of Liquid. Whoa, oh, look at that, Boomy! What a lovely little escape there, hook shot. Back to safety, he's out with the TP, they won't find him this time. They can't even kill Boomy. He makes it away there with a fantastic hook shot.
They do have ultimates now on Team Liquid, so they have the damage if they manage to catch, but
Radiant's
it's a pretty
bottom
sick
tower
escape there.
has fallen.
Mission Impossible style.
Right all of them straight over the neutrals.
And it's off!
Now the mid. I'm out. It's going to get caught in the middle. They're going to try and use the combo. Yours is going to be able to dodge a fair few. The kiss of the Sunray Hill coming as well. Liquid, they just can't get the combo hitting quite right. I look towards Bok instead. They're being going towards it enough. They've got the cookie in. Bok is still alive. They need more help. They're not going to be able to get it. Oh, they put it in there. They will. So now the trap damage will do it. It's going to hit. This could be a chance to just try to turn things. But hold on. Gabby, he looks to be a bit too strong. He's already coming with the dunk onto Insania. He's going to turn over towards Quaitfa. Going to turn over the bear, try and kite Gabby up. Quaitfa, keep the distance, but not far enough. The corner wants to grab him. Sideways here from Samel. Bounce here from Boomy to Gabby. Gabby will fall. Liquid. And for sort of the first time in this series, are able to get a solid fight under their wings here.
Radiant's
I
middle
believe
tower
game
is
one
under
bled a
attack.
little bit into game two here, as in
Radiant
game one,
structures
TNC could have
are
done that exact
fortified.
thing, and Liquid couldn't have done anything about it because they had Chronosphere, as opposed to the Mars Arena, plus all the damage to boot, right? Once they catch Armel, yes, they didn't bring him down, but he's so much of the damage for TNC at this stage. Axe, until he gets that Manta plus Blink Dagger, yes, he represents a lot of damage, but it's so difficult for him to get in position to call that he effectively did nothing that fight. And Liquid, they have good sustained damage, so all they need to be able to do is remove one or two heroes from the fight such that they can overwhelm them with numbers. And you see there, turning that into 4 for nothing, that was great if you're a Liquid fan.
Yeah, so starting to switch it back into the even territory here. Less than 1k difference between the two teams. Liquid able to get some items off the back of that. Mickey with the blink, point for with the Maelstrom. Liquid, they're going to look to see if they can ride this momentum straight into another play. They'll hit out with the smoke and start to look towards mid, see if they can get the catch on
Dire's
out
top
potentially.
tower is under attack. Radiant are
I think
scanning.
everyone here, we're just rooting for Liquid to put up a fight, and we know they're better than this, and that's why it's just so disappointing to see what they've done so far. But yet at the same time, it's hard to believe, even with heroes like Lone Druid, that they'll make it happen. But I'm cautiously optimistic. They've shown some signs of life just recently, and let's turn it into more, baby. I want to see a close game that goes crazy with a bunch of 60-minute neutral items. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
See if they can get in here. Both teams catching the side. What a number of movie. He is great angle straight in onto Quaitfa. Quaitfa's going to get saved. He's cookied out the cogs. They'll get Quaitfa out of there. The kiss is coming in onto Boomy. Boomy will go down. Is Liquid going to get anything more out of this? Samel starting to lay down the traps. He's got his eyes on Armel.
Radiant's
Close
middle
the gap
tower
for
is
Insane
under
is trying
attack.
to charge in. Quaitfa keeping the pressure in onto the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. So they will manage to get this objective. TNC won't
Radiant's
be able to
middle
hold
tower
this
has
tower.
fallen.
Yeah, until that X blink clock's the only way for the Radiant side to force a fight. So even though it doesn't look like really anything happened, as long as Clock's dead, Liquid can safely siege buildings with that Dragon Lance plus the level 10 talent from TA, as well as the Bear tanking the tower shots. He is going for the
Dire's
Spirit
bottom
Vessel
tower
on
is
Thames.
under attack.
That'll help them bring down the Lone Druid, but Mara's going to have a Yule's probably by the time he gets that. This is on Sumail. This is what a lot of us expected going into the major, that Liquid would be building around their substitute player, one of the best mid laners in history, and hasn't really shown that throughout the course of this. So I'd love to see them rally behind him in this game too.
See top. Insania. Got the opening. They do. Arena's going to get knocked out as well. Gabby's going to be held out the side. He's going to try and get the call. Insania, but not quite able to get him range there with the Arena holding him back.
That just looked so funny, because usually you see people bouncing off the walls because they're coming from the inside, but he's like, let me in, damn it.
Radiant's
That gave
middle
me
tower
those
is
Shining
under
vibes
attack.
with Jack Nicholson.
Couldn't quite get there. Here's Gabby.
Radiant's courier
Manta's
has
now
been
done,
killed.
so the blink's going to be flowing in pretty shortly. See Quaitfa continuing to play the catch-up game, trying to match up with the fight of Gabby and Armel. Armel now able to start building for the tankiness and getting that BKB up.
Those side blades hurt, man.
Smel's hitting hard. He's playing a solid game so far. There are a few things that can cause issues for the TA in these fights, but only the one death so far in Sumail as he confidently holds on to the top spot. in net worth.
Axe, though, give it 3 minutes time, and he's a new hero.
That's very true. Is it going to be about that time in this game? The amount of H's, I think he's barely missed an H, and keeping this area of the map completely cleaned up every single minute. There's Boomy. The catch on Insania. He's going to be able to get the cogs down, split up any potential backup. Insania. He's trying to run, but there's a whole army chasing him down here. Armel, Font, Boomy, and Timms. They'll get the job done. Insania's gone.
Can't imagine they turn that into anything. No tier 1 tower of their own mid, which makes it more difficult to siege the opponent mid tower, and you don't quite have the roach damage to force anything as Mickey is in the vicinity.
Block. He's just charging into the jungle. I think he thinks he's a little more indestructible than he was there. Just goes for a little walk in the jungle of Liquid on his own. And, well, I don't think he'll be doing that again.
I think we need that voice line, I'm so strong from TNC, because that's what it looks like they think both of these games, as we saw Gabby in game 1, and now we see Bach in game 2. You just feeling yourself and thinking, there's no way there's 4 heroes from Liquid on top of this hill, and then boom, there they are.
A nasty surprise for Bach. And Samao is going to have the BKB done for the next fight. Liquid up at the smoke, seeing if they can get a hit in whilst the bristle is down. Ideally, they're looking for arm out.
It's going to be tough.
Slash. See if they can catch it. Boomy in position to block up any of these sort of movements. There's Boomy. He's going to give the information for Armel to step out to the side. The rest of TNC are coming in. So for a fight, they do Gabby blinking in aggressively. Insania able to hold him back with the Hex. Liquid being a bit more cautious now that they know that time's been brought here for TNC to turn up in full force. Taking it back for the brush. I think TNC are going to want to do something about this. See what they can get done.
Axe.
Oh, Mickey is going to start the action. Get the jump on, commit to the Gabby straight away to the bring down Gabby, but the sunbreak will burn Mickey in return.
Returns from whence it came.
Both teams dropping a core frontliner here. Or the potential team fight that he wants to get in there. He wants to try and stop them from finishing off this Roche, but Samel is making short work of it. Got to make a move soon, TNC, if they want to try and stop this. Blocks the hook shot from Booming. Samel, he's able to finish Roche, get the Aegis Tiger, Bill shreds down the Supernova. Will cost him his life. See if they can do anything more off the back of this. TNC doesn't look like it. Liquid, they have to back away. Samel gets what he was looking for, gets that Aegis, and gets out alive.
Despite Liquid having difficulty making this long druid work, I've seen some sick plays from Quake5. That was so important that he blocked that clock hook. He was almost timed it perfectly to hook in there with the flare vision, but I don't even think he expected the bear. They purposely zoned the Lion, which was really good on the side of TNC, and Insania wasn't there long enough to tank the arrow himself, but getting exactly what they wanted out of it, suddenly we find ourselves with Liquid having a 2K network lead. All of that is on Sumail. So it really matters what he's going to be able to do with this Aegis, as it appears, is he going for the, full Mjolnir on Quake5? Should expect to see him throwing that down on either the Mars or the TA. That is a lot of damage this game because of how many small instances of damage TNC has. Battery Assault, all of Phoenix spells, Leshrac spells. You should be getting a lot of valuable procs on that Mjolnir active.
Brian, talk to me about this. We're seeing Sumail.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Catch Boomy? No, they can't. The spear won't quite latch. Sumail this game, prioritizing the Aghanims. He's going to be getting the Axe next after this BKB death zone.
That tells me that they are looking to control the map with this Aegis rather than anything like going high ground. It's surprising. I think TA plus the Lone Druid could easily threaten the base if they elected to go for that timing. But this is saying that the rest of them will be able to play away from Sumail, such that they can split the map more efficiently and also look to catch out any cores on the side of TNC that are playing really greedy, as we've seen them do a little bit so far.
Now, well, see what sort of global moves Sumail's going to be able to make with the Axe. He's very close to having it done, about 1,500 gold away. This time, tier 2 is being traded. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting approach. I mean, as you said, this game, really sort of, Liquid obviously building around and playing around Sumail's potential as a player. He's obviously got a good grasp of what needs to be done. And having this axe and that ability to TP around the map between the traps
is under attack.
Might just be what Sumail feels can make the difference in an effort to sort of outplay the potential 5-man brawl that TNC is going to be running down lanes at Liquid.
Boom! There he goes! I'm going to say there's a little bit of discontinuity here, and this is the factor of having a stand-in, even if they've been playing together for most of DPC. Sumail's build tells me they're playing for map control and pickoffs, while Kyiv, instead of going for the Yules, went for a Vlad's, which tells me they're going to walk down lanes and fight and siege buildings, because that's what the Aura is meant to do instead of the Yules, which will help them find people. So, it just seems like they're on a different page. A lot of times I envision teams' lineups, their items synergize and come together for this grand old timing that they're going to hit, whether or not that's sieging high ground or forcing a team fight. And now, I think they're going to have to wait till the end of the Roche because of the way Sumail's built. I'm not blaming anyone in particular. I'm just not a huge fan of the way these items line up.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a different move that we'll see if it pays off. I mean, Liquid obviously currently having the lead, 14-9, 2K in. We'll see what they're able to do with this, approach and angle they're coming in into the game with at this stage. On the side of TNC, we've seen AniMajor. Arm out. He's going to be trying to get that Bloodstone online, and put that damage, that tank ability. Bok, talking about Aghanim's, he's very close to having his done. In fact, I think he might just have it complete. Yeah, he does. The Ags on Bristle is going to be on its way out here for the next fight. The Liquid, they're already looking to buy them. They'll get the jump on Boomy. Once again, good old Boomy doing his job here for the team, tanking the smoke gank.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, now that Axe has a blink, the kill on Clock is not nearly as valuable because they can still force a fight on the side of TNC, and Clock would be able to buy back reactionarily, and that's why we're seeing Liquid be a little bit passive with this push, as no one on the side of TNC is really showing on the map, so theoretically they could all be here, but they have the Aegis on the TA, everyone else playing super safe.
Radiant's middle
Executed siege of the tier 2 there, as TNC is looking to hit their timings. Armel just got his BKB, Gabby is about a recipe away from his, and those BKBs will be quite valuable because a lot of their heroes have built-in survivability tools like the Yules from the Lesh as well as the Call from the Axe against the TA, and then there's limited damage other than that when they're in their BKB.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I mean, with the sort of approach from Liquid, does this sort of say to you that they aren't going to be in a rush to sort of end this one? They're Sumail's now going to look to farm up his next, at least his next big item before they go and force any action.
You're asking me to analyze whether or not Axe out-carries this? Yeah, it's really hard to say in terms of who scales better in the late game. Looks like Liquid is content to do so. I am not confident one way or the other who scales better, because Lone Druid, not exactly a hard carry. TA is a semi-carry. You have kind of like 3 semi-carries on the side of TNC. Even Bristleback as an offlaner can be considered as such, as he has the Axe Scepter. So the AoE teamfight control, as the panel mentioned, the Bear has no way to get rid of that. So it should mitigate a lot of Quakefo's Bear's ability to get any right clicks in.
And Gabby just continues to keep excellent hold of the lanes with the illusions. Bottom, Sumail. I'm just going to try and just push it, just play for that split farm as far away from TNC as he possibly can be. Top lane, Mickey hiding in the trees. The rest of Liquid are heading over. See what they can do. They also do have a trap around, so Sumail with the Axe can look to join the fight. As already, he's going to start making the moves up here, but Armel is into the trees. TNC will immediately move away from this, so no catch to be found here from Liquid attending the top lane.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And Gabby has that BKB being delivered.
The next fight could be a bit scary here for Liquid if Gabby gets a good call.
Radiant structures onto the temple.
TNC's ready to try and go for the jump themselves.
Aegis is out.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Tiger's got a blink of his own.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
I'll see if he's able to make some sort of little cute saves. I mean, obviously, getting people out of the cogs with the cookie has been the main focus here for Tiger in these fights when Boomy gets the catch.
There he goes.
Look at the tower, Liquid, but still TNC just doing a good job of evading any unnecessary action at this point.
Yeah, I think this phase of the game is good for Liquid because Sumail, you're seeing the effect of this Axe. He's just playing away from his team. Similar like a Spectre. He can just be at the fight from any part, has the Daedalus queued up, or maybe just the casual Crystallis with the same thing.
Turning over towards Gabby. Sumail takes some heavy damage here from the pure spins off Gabby. The super numbers down. Liquid can't get in position to take down the Tiger. Jumps in. Looking for the kill off. He does get it, but it costs him his life. Zarmel's able to come in with the cleanup. Zarmel, with that buyback, able to turn the efforts around, pick up some kills in return. Now look to run it down the mid lane. The fortification is up. McKay, of course, also buying back both teams.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
TNC, they'll still be the ones to claim that mid tower. Roshan is going to be up in a minute and a half. So they have to keep their eyes on that. Sumail trying to force in bottom lane, going for the satanic after this crit. So he has further tankiness. But I mean, he needs that. We saw that in that last engagement. You know, Gabby, the damage that he does do. Once those refractions do fall, it will shred any of these heroes.
Yeah, Paladin Sword. Sumail likes to take that, so maybe he can skip the Satanic. That could be a pretty value neutral item when you factor the Vlads from Mickey. Cloak of Flames on him, probably going to take the Titan Sliver over that. A lot of good neutral items on the Dire. I think Cloak of Flames pretty value on the Bear. Oh, the Elven Tunic on the Axe. I don't know how this works with the spin.
Do it with flair.
If you attack and it procs a spin, might be detrimental.
I think, well, I don't know, but Brian, that's the sort of thing you know all that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I'm supposed to know.
You're saying, is there still a chance? Is there still a chance for you to spin? Yeah, if the hit misses. I'm gonna say, I think it's only if the hit lands on you. I think it's only if it lands on you. I think in the past it used to be when the attack was starting on you, but I think that's changed over the years.
Yeah, you're right. It was on attack trigger rather than an attack land, and now that's the case.
Yeah.
Okay. TNC, 5-man
Dire's
smoke.
middle tower is under attack.
Gem on the clock. Or Gem on the Phoenix,
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Liquid, they're going to check out this triangle, but TNC very deep on Liquid's half of the map right now. TNC smoke's about to come to an end. Liquid,
Radiant
still got a little longer on theirs, and they do have the high ground
Dire's
around
middle
the
tower
triangle.
is under
TNC.
attack.
And it's off.
Smart moves here from TNC. You know, with the fact they've made that move, they don't catch any Liquid. They'll scan their own triangle and it hits. They know where Liquid's playing. Liquid, they're going to try and sneak into the room. TNC's going to have a pretty darn good idea of this. It doesn't matter indeed, though. The speed is taken down by this physical damage of Sumail and the crew. Means that it's an easy rush here for Liquid. Aegis into the hands of Sumail. That shard as well, so silence from the traps also going to be something that will be quite the nuisance for some of these heroes.
It's funny, I'm just reading all the patch notes on TA's abilities, and they're just also buffed. You're wondering why you're saying TA so much. It's not some secret. Hero just got buffed 5 times in a matter of a couple patches. But Cheese on Quakefoot. Looking good for Liquid.
Quakefoot got caught up a lot. He had a struggle at the start. He was just sitting in that bottom half of the net worth, but he's right up there now, top 3 net worth. 8k lead. They've had a lot of tough games here at the Major Liquid, but here so far, in this one, it looks like things are coming together. Did take a bit of a change up of dynamic. You know, having Mickey playing the offlane, Mars and Quaker on the carry lone Druid, but they may have found something here that could secure them another victory.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Tiger
attack.
TPing in after clearing top.
Radiant
Really good
structures are fortified.
just map movements coming out from Liquid to make sure they can safely siege this tower without having to worry about any split push pressure from the Leshrac.
I mean, Boomy and Gabby are looking to try and get him from the back. There is they're trying to wrap around, but Liquid's prepared. Mickey, he's gonna get the jump. The setup looking for Gabby, but Gabby instantly with a BKB. Make sure that there's nothing else following up after that jump from Mickey.
Yeah, he certainly had the BKB there, but really smart by Liquid to only use the Lion Impale, because that's the bare minimum that would force him to BKB, and if he doesn't, you get the Impale off, use the Arena Spear combo in a reaction, but nothing else committed. And
I can appreciate
maybe
that.
Liquid can capitalize on that 75-second cooldown BKB, but I also think they were content to keep all of TNC in their base. As you can see exactly why Sumail went for this Ags, as he's able to go immediately top with the ability to come back bottom, similar to an Ember Remnant in this case. And he goes to his triangle. But this is more looking like a Nature's Prophet.
That's a big efficiency with this axe. Level 25. He's going to have it ready for the next fight. It's a huge one. +8 refraction instances. You're talking about the buffs. This is one of the biggest ones that TA got.
Absolutely insane. Super value against the axe if he gets his BKB off. There's really no other way to break it in terms of the refraction charges.
Let's see what they can go for
The
here.
jungle
They can
has
still
everything Axe
time to push
desire.
on with that Aegis on Sumail. TNC are prepared to defend.
Dire's structures
See
are
if Liquid can
fortified.
break the base in. The tier 3 tower. It's got
Radiant's
Mickey.
bottom
He's gonna look for the jump. The
tower is
BKB's already out for Bob. Bob's starting to charge in. His BKB is aggressive. Impossible Sumail. He's down on the line. Tiger getting cool back down. Buyback's coming in from Liquid. They need to try and hit him, but they can't. The stone control comes out. Sumail does not get the chance to pop his BKB. As Sumail goes down, Liquid, they've got to bail. Have to get out of there. As TNC hitting hard there with that defense. It didn't matter that there were 2 lives on Sumail. Didn't even matter about the level 25, the 8 refraction instances. They still killed him off twice very easily. And even with the desperate buybacks from Liquid, nothing they could do to stop that and turn it around. A huge hit there from TNC.
Maybe just a little bit of arrogance coming out from Sumail there, as he had a Dragon Lance in his inventory and a BKB in his backpack while he had the Aegis. And the Aegis respawn is slightly shorter than the 6-second backpack cooldown, so when he comes back to life, just gets immediately stunned and blown up.
You're right there, yeah, definite risks to be taking. And not one that paid off.
Dire's middle
Let's look
tower
at this
is
charge from
under
TNC
attack.
straight. Gabby, he wants to go for some high ground jumps there. The base, if they do, Gabby's going to be on them immediately.
Dire's middle tower has
TNC.
fallen.
Both teams.
Illusion!
So, I mean, the lead that Liquid has, it's starting to drop. You can't afford for any more moves like that to be made here. Sumail has to be protected at all costs. They lose this TA. The fight, even with the farm that Quaker has, is going to be very hard to clean up, as we are seeing, as you mentioned, just so many ways for TNC to disrupt the flow of Quaker's bear in the fight. It doesn't matter how much farm he does have. If the bear can't hit the heroes, he's going to have a great time. Bottom lane, a nice little catch here from Insania and Sumail onto Armel. We'll open them up a 2-minute window where there won't be a Lesh. It could be enough time here to maybe try and force his buyback.
That TA global presence is absolutely insane. Anywhere that has a trap, this might as well be a Techies, but it's a hero. It's going to TP in and show you.
Look at this setup from TNC. This is stop it. They're going to get the jump. Straight for the tree there with the catch on Sumail. The BKB's out for the and lockdown Sumail is taken out. TNC in the trees And they move straight over and say somehow. Good buyback, they're looking for the turnaround to be able to blow up Tim's. So they can chase Spock as well somehow. He's got to find something out of this buyback. They've got the damage, but will fall. Somehow, he's angry there after that jump they make on him. Straight in with the buyback. Taking down TNC's two big members here as they're ready to go up to high ground. TNC do have buyback Gambit hiding in trees. We'll see if they want to come up with a buyback play, because now TNC, sure there's 3 on the side, but if they get back in, if they kill Samael, they may have just done enough to end the game in their favour. Moving, he's going to get caught. Samael's got to be careful. Samael's starting to back off. Quoifer looking to push them back with the fear. It's enough to allow Quoifer the time to TP out and the rest of the crew. Everybody else gets out of there. As they force the 2 buybacks from TNC, and nobody else will get lost on the side of Liquid. They managed to retreat in time very cleanly.
Yeah, both teams operating on pins and needles now. It's not only that they don't have buybacks, but you saw how quickly Armel went down on the left track just by walking over a trap plus a single support stun coming out from Liquid. And then you saw how quickly Sumel died to the burst of TNC. It's just crazy that any time somebody gets caught out here could spell the end. And both teams have immense tower damage, so any kill will be turned into a lot of structural damage.
See close to some big arms here. Armel's going to want to try and get his Bloodstone finished ready, but before the next fight, so he has a bit more sustain with that spell. Life stealing that damage. And on the side of Liquid, Quoifer, he's got the money building up here, 3k gold. See what route he wants to go to. Of course, buybacks are very important at this stage. Gabby, it's actually smoked him. Maybe see if he can get the setup up to. Oh! Try to get the jump on his save, but his save's already over the opening. They're going to jump onto our mountain. He's taken down Tim's. Gabby hit the trees. Will kill off Insania, but he's got to run. The kiss is connected. Gabby going to be able to get his blink off in time. So now he's found him. The call comes out from Gabby. And Gabby outdid the damages around. Gabby close back up here for Samael. As Mickey jumps over, pins down Gabby. Samael getting a triple. As they are able to do it once again here, Liquid. They keep Samael safe and fighting fit and make sure he's able to come out on top of these fights. Level 27 now on the TA. Samael, they might just be ready to push in and punish what is, of course, going to be 1 minute without that Phoenix guarantee. They know Tim's ball back last time round. See how much damage Liquid can get done here with the Siege.
I don't know if this is a discount Tinker or the better version of Tinker. Sumel has bought a super late bottle, has placed a trap at his own fountain, and has used it to go back to base and regen faster than you normally be able to by just natural fountain regen. So this is, I think it's the upgraded version of Tinker personally.
We can see some very nice moves from Samael with this axe this game. And to the point where we may very well see more TAs up the items priority in their builds. If this works out, as so far Samael keeping himself in that top spot and just making so much use of the map.
Yeah, he's even got the Eon disc. That's when you know the situation he's in. As long as I live, we're good. Roach gonna fortunately spawn before Gabby is alive. Refresher Shard on the axe. On the side of Liquid don't particularly have an amazing Refresher Shard carrier.
Forever.
Yeah, they'll just hand it over to Mickey for now. A couple of the arenas good to go. Also, here we have it. I mean, Liquid, they want to try and use this Aegis immediately. See if they can smoke up again an aggressive jump onto TNC in the base. They'll have to be careful though. Gabby, of course, still very, very strong.
Conceal yourselves.
You can just look at Mickey's inventory. He's so utility-based. I'm pretty sure his most expensive item is a Yule's. It's like 2800 gold. And he's 6 slotted.
And this is gonna give us some potential for some big moves. This Wind Waker that he's pretty much got done. Yeah, what is he sort of looking at here? Just something to sort of get Samael or Quoifer out of the combos.
I also think that item looks really cool when you use it on yourself. Something about a moving cyclone is just really adds to the flair. Yeah. But he's probably buying it to save his teammates, but a man can dream.
Now we'll see if Mickey's able to start on them with up in the air. TNC not to be deterred by the fact that Liquid have managed to secure these Roshan benefits. They're still pushing out on the map, constantly using these smokes to try and take advantage of potentially Liquid splitting up, but it's not happening. Liquid, the full 5-man, ringing around this top lane.
Okay, who's gonna get the jump? That's all that matters.
Boom! There he goes!
Could be a risk for TNC trying to take a fight outside of their base here. We'll see if they do just let this tier 2 go. As in, yeah, they will. They're going to wait here to go for the final defense up the high ground.
Radiant's top
try their best to protect this last set of racks.
And Gabby trying to get that level 25.
That doesn't feel stronger.
I don't think he's going to have it in time. Only about halfway there.
He's got a whole lot of money as well. I'll imagine we'll see him spend that up.
Radiant are scanning.
Strength blink the best when you could just go
Dire's
off the
middle
info that we
tower
talked
is under
about
attack.
way early on in this game.
Yeah, but then why don't you drop it for the Octarine if you want to go for the beam?
Yeah, probably Vanguard. Damage block pretty underwhelming at this stage in the game. Could always upgrade that to an Abyssal. That's worth
Well, yeah, I was going to say that. Well, yeah, Abyssal or Overwhelming Blink. Why the Overwhelming Blink?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It seems pretty underwhelming against heroes like TA that don't take the damage from
Contrary
it.
to the name, yeah.
Yeah. Unintended there.
Liquid. And they've been very careful about how they approach pushing in on this last set. They know that even though they're a decent man ahead, 17k lead here for Liquid, TNC can still pose quite the threat if they can get these jumps. If Gabby, and Gabby's just straight in. He's not going for the Wind Waker's in action. Because they're a throw point for up in the air. Gabby's down. As Gabby's down for 95, he has got buyback somehow. Pushing in easily, clears out the creep wave. Box BKB comes to an end. That's Gabby out for 90. He may have to buy back here.
Fortified.
If TNC want to have the chance of holding on to that final set of barracks, it's Liquid, they're going to want to keep pushing in.
That might be the most impactful Wind Waker I've ever seen.
And it's up!
These sort of players that get the finger straight down onto Boomy. Boomy comes back into Arno. He's got the front lines. He's trying to charge in, but he's not scamming. Takes it down. Arno's gone. Boomy hook shooting in straight to the center of the wall. The Supernova, they're going to be able to step out of range of it, Liquid. The Supernova catches back in, pins Boomy back against his own cogs. That's Arno. Boomy down. No buyback. Liquid, they've got the space and time to push in to get the megas and potentially more here against TNC. As TNC, can they do anything with just the 3 of them? No egg, Gabby. He's heading out trying to, I guess, get some final bits of farm. I mean, he's very close to having his blink upgrade. He's still very set on getting that done. But the base is in shambles here as Liquid. They're tearing through the first tier 4. The second one quits a full ancient exposed. As this should be the game here for Liquid. The bear finishing the throw. Gabby tries to pull up with the call. He's not going to get the chance to do so. GG is called. And Liquid, they will find themselves a win. Look at that celebration from inside. We finally won a game. And